Yeah, yeah,
Nature's Rhythm. Okay.
yeah. Nature's Rhythm. That was it.
Yeah, we can start with the what was it called? I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a particularly good one. I mean, Teamer Otters is the most meta one. The Demir Control's like the easiest one to play against, probably.
Yeah, that's the only one I won. But
Oh, it's
I
well,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, we could look at maybe
So
Teamer Otters because first.
okay,
I mean, that's probably the most
let me pull
the
let
most
me pull that
relevant
one
one
up.
to look at, maybe, just because.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let me pull
Actually,
that up real
we could
quick.
start there. Yeah.
I
Do you have a picture of your deck list that you played, just for because I guess if it's like
yeah,
clarifications, it matters.
I'm gonna pull that up too. Yeah, I do not know the standard format well at all. It's I played pretty embarrassingly, but you'll see. But yeah, it's just I didn't even know I was playing against Teamer Otters at first. It took a minute for me to realize like, okay, that's what this deck is. So I think I have some homework to do as far as just like learning, the format and the cards in the format and stuff like that. I think there was a lot of like, you know, just losing just to not knowing what I'm playing against, but also a lot of bad plays. So this is a deck. Can you see it well?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yep.
Cool. So yeah, I think this one got like a maybe it was in like 10th place or something like that at Worlds. I updated it very slightly. I added like an extra copy of Ral rather than Slagstorm or whatever it's called, the DO3 Wrath. Um, so I put that in the sideboard. I think that's it. I might have. Oh yeah, I also added one of these lands, the Agna Kella, instead of a basic. Um, I think that those are the only changes I might have made. Oh, I put it in a braid main too as well, in place of a third get out.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. I mean, I guess uh, speaking about standard more broadly, yeah, I don't know if you saw any. I mean, it looks like you said you took this list from Worlds. I don't know if you saw that much about what was going on at Worlds or anything of that
Yeah, yeah,
sort.
I watched every minute very religiously. So it was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, it seemed like the narrative. We'll see how true it is, but people were kind of saying that the Lessons deck might be, maybe it's really busted, like tier zero in the format, or tier one. I guess it's kind of a breakout deck because it wasn't that popular before, but then the CFB people were saying it's really good, so that kind of
Yeah.
stood out to me. And yeah, what else? Um,
Yeah, the lessons deck, the monument configuration specifically, at least in the mirror, when Seth Manfield was playing against was it Derek Davis? It just felt so busted compared to like Derek's win con. I tried it on the ladder, like on Arena a little bit, but I mean it's just so goldfishy in some parts that I felt like a better entry point to Is It was this deck, which I think was Michael Plummer's, if I remember correctly. Um, and then yeah, I guess there's the looting deck, which I forget who it was that top aided with that. That seemed pretty good. And then the handshake team Golgari deck really stood out to me. But I really enjoyed playing with that deck on the ladder. I did not understand the sideboard plan at all. They had like a land, in the sideboard. I wasn't clear to me when that comes in, like how to, side in and out. So it just felt like a really tuned list and very nuanced, and it wasn't clear. Like I know that they probably have, everything in the deck was intentional, but it just wasn't clear what each card was for in some cases. So I stopped playing that just because I wasn't sure how to sideboard.
yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of an interesting moment. I don't know if the spotlights are before or after Lorwyn comes out, because that could change standard a little bit. But I guess
Yeah,
just
The
in
so the regional championship, the one in January that I'm playing is I just learned like the pre-release. for the Lorwyn set is like literally the weekend before. So the cards will be legal and they'll be pre-release accessible for a week by that point, which kind of sucks. But I don't I think learning the format and or maybe not the format, but just the cards in standard in general is probably fine. And I'll get 3 days to maybe practice on Arena or something like that before I actually take maybe some of the Lorwyn cards to the RC.
Yeah, yeah. I guess probably not like worth discussing like the meta too much, especially like speculating on it. But yeah, it kind of seemed like, you know, I mean, I guess kind of some high level takeaways were kind of like, I mean, Boomerang Basics seems really strong and it performed well. I didn't really understand why
Hmm.
people were that high on Badger Mole Cub, and I guess it didn't do that well on the weekend. I mean, I know what the card does, but I didn't. I thought it would be hard to be broken, just because it's a 2 mana
Yeah.
creature that can die down, to removal and whatever. And yeah, let me think what else was. I mean, the reason the Lessons deck seems kind of interesting is it's like all the cards are like, it's very similar to Phoenix and Pioneer. Like the cards are very cheap. It's hard to interact with. It's like it
Yeah.
like does like a lot of broken things that are hard to punish. Like Gran can kind of be a 1 mana card that like if you don't interact with it, you're punished. You know, I'm trying like
Yeah.
it just has like some like Boomerang Basics and Talent. It just plays that randomly. I don't even know if how good it is in the deck, but that's like probably one of the best things in the format. It just randomly has it and like it makes use of the lesson. Like it just seemed like it's so easy for the deck to just like 1 for 1 whatever the opponent's doing and then just cast Accumulate Wisdom, or like it's standard, like it's not that fast. Like you have a turn 2 Artist Talent, it's their turn 2, they play a random 2 drop, then you play Monument to Endurance, and it's like kind of tough for them. Or like the level mode is actually like pretty potent because like they pass with counter spells, you just level your talent. I don't know. It seems like it has a lot of
Right. Yeah.
potential. I guess you'd have to be like, what are the weaknesses? But it's like it reminds me of Phoenix. Like it has just so many things going for it. Like low curve. It's proactive, but it's also interactive. Like it, as you said, it's like pretty good at doing its own game plan, but it's also pretty good at like interacting with the opponent when it wants to. Like play like the low lands thing is so powerful because it means like the fact that the deck like I guess what it, like that it has so many cantrips. I guess what I'm let me see how to put it. Just like it's very consistent. I guess is a way of putting it. Like it's a kind of deck that it has a 2 land hand and you're like great, or maybe it has a 4 land hand and has artist talent. It's also great. Like it's very consistent. And the last
Right.
thing, like I saw, you know, like some like lose it like missing land like when you have manipulation or like selection over hitting your lands is really useful because obviously if you ever play limited, like an easy way to lose is just flooding or screwing. But when you have a lot of like when your deck, it's kind of like when you're playing Ponders and Brainstorms in Legacy. Like when you're very good at not flooding and screwing, that's kind of an advantage it has compared to another deck like
Yeah.
Golgari, whatever. You're gonna keep a 2 lander. You don't draw your land, the game's over. But this deck, you have cantrips. Um, so I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Like maybe it's down. Like so, it's kind of interesting to see like what its downsides. But it kind of like stood out to me. It's like, oh yeah, this seems really powerful. See if people can, uh, keep up with it or whatever. Because it's like, what are the other decks? Like, what's that appealing? Like, for example, as you're saying, like in the blue red mirror, like is this deck gonna have that good of a plan versus lessons? Because the lessons deck has combustion technique, which is like the red deal X for its lessons. So you play Riddler, they just technique it, they boomerang basics it, and you as this like blue red deck, like you don't have that much interaction necessarily for like their monuments and talents. Because like I mean, part of
Right.
what's nice about
Yeah.
the talents is like you have all these burn spells, but that you have to play because you're blue red. But talent just lets you loot them away. Whereas for you, right, like you're gonna have the burn spell, and it might be like hard to find targets, and like Sauna's hard to like line up that well against them, and whatever. I mean, I don't know, not to go too much on the
Yeah.
spiel,
Yeah.
but it's like I'm just trying to be like that's why I might start with the lessons deck, and like obviously has its own you know quirks about it or whatever, but it just seems very strong. I don't know if that was too asinine the comments
No,
I'm
that
making. Like
yeah, no, like all of this tracks completely. That seemed like a really good analysis. I think I played one match with this deck against the lessons deck, and it's exactly what you're saying. Like, my burn spells are basically dead in hand most of the time. Like, maybe I get lucky and I can
yeah,
fire off
exactly.
like a fire magic against like some tokens or something. But And it just felt really hard to attack because you have to manage their graveyard. You have to manage like this artifact. I have absolutely no answers other than proactive answers for the enchantments, like the artist talent. And so it's just like they have board presence when they want it. They have all these different pieces that require very direct answers, and then you have to manage like the graveyard presence as well. It reminded me a lot of like the VV deck in that sense, except the graveyard is not like as egregious, like if they did, it's not like, oh, you
You
just
gotta
keep the
answer
VV out of the
mirrors.
yard or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
answer
but
mirrors on
it
turn
was still
three.
another
Yeah.
thing to manage. Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's still another thing to manage, and just like, it's attacking you from multiple angles, or it's threatening you from multiple angles, and that always feels really bad. So you're probably right. I should probably go back to the deck and like try to get better at it. At the very least, I think it's very likely, even with Lorwyn dropping, it'll be overrepresented. I don't think a lot of people will have access to the new cards and stuff like that. So I predict that, granted, I'm kind of going against everything you said about metagaming. I probably shouldn't do that. But I assume that at least learning this deck would be good, because worst case scenario, regardless of whatever I play, like I'm probably going to be playing, against it a good amount.
Yeah, I mean, you can always metagame, but I probably said it last week. Like the Sam Black method of deck selection is play the cards you think should be banned, or like is a pretty good
Yeah.
way. Because it's always like people were like, these cards are really broken. It's like, yeah, you should play it probably.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, all
Yeah.
it's part of why the deck is good is it has multiple angles, right? So like if people try and play a graveyard hate card against you, but then you cast Monument to Endurance, it might look really silly or whatever. Or like they bring in
Right.
removal for your Grand. Like you're kind of forcing them. That's like kind of a concept that sort of applied with energy, or back when energy was good, when Amdrafter was legal, and it was like 2 years ago. But it was like the thing that was good about energy was like you forced your opponent to interact, because if you went turn one Ocelot or turn one Guide of Souls, you know most of the opponents in Modern are forced to interact with that. But like even if they have the interaction, what if you go turn two like Amdrafter or a Johnny? So like then their removal's not even good, and that was back when they had One Ring, right? So you could just like what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you're
Yeah.
forcing them to interact, but you're not paying much because you play Guide of Souls, they kill it. It's like okay, that's fine, but they have to interact with it. Like it's almost a good example was in the mirror matches when you realized how good it was, because you'd play the energy mirrors, and you'd be like, oh, like how many removal spells should I have? And then you like go through the list of cards, and you're like, oh, removal's not actually that good against a lot of cards. Like it's only really good against like maybe God of Souls, because you go through the list of cards, and back when I had One Ring, you're like, removal's not that good against One Ring. It's not that good against Antraptor. It's not that good against Johnny necessarily. And then you're like, but you're like, but I need the
Yeah.
removal, because if they play a God of Souls, I literally lose. So it's kind of like you're playing these like it's uneven, because you're like, here are my threats.
Yeah.
If you don't answer my threats, you're gonna lose. But also the answers you're gonna play are gonna be awkward, because sometimes I'm not gonna draw Grand, and you're gonna have a shock or whatever. So it's just kind of like this very uneven game you got to play with your opponents. Like, I mean, I guess it's basically saying like when you have threats that are really like when you're forcing your opponent to interact with you, it's a really good spot to be in. I guess is what I'm saying, because they have to interact with
Yeah.
you, and when they do, it's like you don't lose that much, because it's like okay, whatever, kill my God of Souls. So it's kind of nice. That's kind of why it's like nice when you can be doing the most powerful thing in the format, because you're automatically like you're forcing your opponent to react to you. So you're automatically like your opponent's always fighting an uphill battle against you, kind of. I mean, maybe that's kind of
Yeah.
abstract, but yeah.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it feels like playing against this lessons deck. To be
Yeah,
honest,
and
it's
not yeah.
yeah.
I remember one example too of how you can tell. This was like when we were playing the mouse deck in standard, and people would have like a pretty good hand. Like a deck's good when like you feel like you need the absolute nut draw. Like I would see people have a pretty good hand against playing against the mouse deck, but they'd be like, oh no, I'm still gonna lose if they go turn one Heartfire Hero, turn two that. I need a mulligan to the nuts, and obviously that's not like if a deck makes you think, if a deck makes you mulligan decent hands, because you need like if you need the nuts to beat the deck, then the deck's pretty good, right? Like it's like, wait, if I need a nut
Right.
hand to beat this deck, that means that deck's pretty good, right? They're like forcing me to draw the nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, we can
That's a good way of thinking about that. I like that advice. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, cool. So we can get into the game. So I'm on the draw here. It's game one. And I kept this hand. I thought about, would I mull this on a six? And I'm on the draw. It's reactive. I don't know what I'm playing against. I don't have anything to really do. I guess I could cycle a Riddler on two. I don't know. What do you think? Is this a good or a bad keep?
Well, it seems good to me, but I guess we can, break down why. I mean, obviously, if it's closed deck list versus open deck list, it's different. If you know the removal is not good in the matchup, right, that would change a lot. But let's just say it's closed deck list, so you don't know. Um,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I would almost want to be like, what would make you consider mulliganing? But I'd be like, it's not. You're not really cycling Riddler on turn two. Like, it's not like cycling a land. Like, when you cycle a Riddler on two, it's like a 2-for-1 basically. You know what I mean? Because it just goes to the warp zone. So it's actually
Right.
like
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, it's a good like warping Riddler is a good play to be making to a degree. I mean, I'm not obviously if it's turn two and somebody warps a Riddler, you're like, oh, they're not developing that much. But it's like it's kind of like casting a Think Twice or whatever, like a Flage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty proactive and almost it's like a one card plan because I mean your hand. I mean, if you look at it, it's three removal spells and a Riddler. That's kind of a good plan, right? Like just remove all their permanents and play a Riddler. But also just from the mana approach, like turn one, you have the ability to play one drop if you need to. Turn two, you're gonna spend your mana. Turn three, it seems like you're probably gonna have stuff to do. Like you're gonna have drawn like a lot of spells. Like it's turn three, so you've taken three draw step plus your Riddler, so you've drawn four new cards. And you already like if you didn't play anything on turn one, you can multi spell whatever. So it just seems like this hand's gonna use all its mana every turn. I don't know, like
Yeah.
it seems like it's a very good keep, but I would almost like that's not that useful to say like, oh yeah, it seems like a snap keep. Like I would almost be like, what would make you consider it? It sounded like maybe why you consider it, why you were considering like, oh maybe it's not that impressive, is you felt like, oh I'm gonna cycle Riddler on two. But if you're like that's actually pretty, that's kind of like playing a Flage early, like it's totally fine. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah, that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
Yeah. I think I also had a like it was probably recency bias. I just played against a control deck, all my removal was dead. And so like that might have been why it felt I wouldn't say I felt bad about the keep, but I definitely thought about it.
yeah, for sure. Like if it was like against blue white control, then the hand would be two of your cards are two and a half of your cards are pretty bad. I think it would be reasonable to mulligan. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, closed deck list. So I immediately so yeah, I keep this. And they play a green blue land tapped. And I immediately I think I made a mistake with my land drop. I went for the mountain thinking I'll keep up Torch of the Tower or Torch the Tower. And then realized very quickly that if I played River Pyre Verge, although I'm giving a little more information, it at least unlocks like a top deck get out, which would basically just be dead in hand for a turn. I don't know if that's overthinking it or what, but that's exactly what ended up happening.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it seems pretty free. Like you're yeah. Like because yeah,
Yeah.
you might want double blue next turn. Depending what you draw. So might as well play the Verge, I guess. But it could be pretty easy to miss that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Comes up with land
So
sequencing. I mean, it might have been influenced because last time I said it's good to hold your dual lands for last, but in this scenario, you
yeah,
could use the mana.
yeah. This is
Yeah,
yeah. It was one of those moments where I was thinking, oh yeah, don't give the information, and then you
yeah.
know,
Because like
ended
you
up
have double
getting
blue
a
spells.
little
Yeah.
punished for it.
Because like yeah, you could draw Storm Chaser, but okay. So I guess yeah, here like was this turn obvious to you, where you just like cycle Riddler, or
Um,
were you
I
like
I think yeah, I think I was afraid of like a badger mole or something, and just decided like I'm gonna just hold up removal. But yeah, I don't know. Is this a cycle Riddler turn? You think since they played nothing for a turn?
well, there's a couple of things going on there. I mean, I would say for me the biggest temptation to hold the Riddler would be if I want to boomerang basics it almost
Hmm.
to draw more cards. But I guess you can like break down like you can be like, what's the biggest downs like intuitively? Why I thought about Riddler first is because you think what's the biggest downside if I pass with my mana open. And it's like, well, the biggest downside is what if your opponent doesn't play something you can remove and then you lose your mana? Like if they play a stock up, I mean, I don't know if they discard to hand size, I can't see, but whatever, like
Yeah, they got 6 in hand, but yeah,
I think
very
they had
reasonable.
7, but so then so like it's like so I'm like usually like if I can, you know, I mean I'm usually trying to avoid situations where I can't use my mana right, and I'm just like, oh, you know, like I don't know if I need to leave mana up because like if they play something I can just kill it next turn anyway. Like if they play the cub, you deny them like 1 mana, but it's like on another like angle you almost want them to play the cub so that you can use the removal spells. So
Right.
that's kind of how I'd be looking at it, but it's like, well, if they don't play any creatures anyway, you might not be using your mana anyway for a while. And like, if you hold the Riddler, maybe you give yourself outs to draw, what's it called, the Flicker Splash Portal. So I think it could be okay to pass. Also, like depends on the deck list and stuff. Like, let's say there was they played a 3 mana counter spell, which I know they don't, but like if they did, then if you go for Riddler next turn, then they could maybe counter it, um, or whatever. Or like if
Yeah.
they have get outs in their list, obviously it's not that likely they're going to pass with get out next turn because they then play a blue land. But I guess that's kind of how I'd be breaking down the turn. Like I'm like, what's the downside of passing? It's like, well, if I can't use my mana, but like it's like, does that even matter? Because the way my hand is composed was the basic. So I feel like it's okay to pass. There's also like other stuff. Like it kind of depends like what's on top of your deck and stuff. So like, let's say I'm like, oh, like it doesn't even matter that much if you lose the mana this turn because you're likely to not spend it next turn anyway. But what if like your top 2 cards has a Thundertrap Trainer? So like if you cycle Riddler now, you could draw a Thundertrap Trainer to cast next turn, and then maybe Splash Portal or Boomerang Basics it.
Mm.
Whereas like if you're holding the Riddler, so it's like so it's kind of like there's some situations where you might have more gas, or maybe you have another Riddler on top. Like imagine if your top card's a Riddler, you'd obviously want to cycle here. So I mean, I almost see like
Yeah.
using to hold it is like, what if my top card's the Splash Portal, or like what if I want to Boomerang Basics my Riddler just to cycle my Boomerang Basics. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I would break it down. It's just like trying, yeah. Like if
Okay.
you have
Yeah,
anything to add,
that makes sense. What if so in a situation like mine where it's open deck list, they're playing cards, but I'm just like not familiar with the the cards in the format much. Does that change anything? Like does it make more sense to be proactive? Like play the Riddler, um, or does it make more sense to like play scared? I guess like hold up open mana and removal because I'm not really sure what the opponent could really be playing on their turn. Like I'm not sure. Like yeah, I'm aware of Badger Mole Cub, but I'm not really sure about like what the follow up 2-drop could be. That they could play with along with the Badger Mole.
well, there's a lot of things to there's a lot of things to say about the Badgermole Cup, because one thing I might almost say is like, if they had Badgermole Cub, like when they've probably just cast it this turn, would they really be holding it? So you could say maybe they're less likely to have the
Hmm.
Cub in hand. Um,
Yeah,
Obviously
it's
weird
a
things
really
could
good
happen.
point.
Maybe they have Spell Pierce and they want to hold it, but it's like, I mean, that is, there's like a lot of different skills when playing Magic, and like one of them could be like, based on the way they're playing, maybe you get hints on their hand or whatever. So that's one consideration. Another thing is also like, though, if they play Cub, like, do you even care? Because it's like
Yeah, I guess I have Fire Magic, which
yeah,
would
you can just like abrade.
probably hit like yeah,
Yeah, like I was saying, like it's almost like you want your opponent to play Cub because you have all these like Torture Towers and abrades that are looking for targets.
yeah,
I mean, maybe you could pass, but it's also like, again, it's you ask like, okay, why am I? What does them playing a Cub accomplish? They get like 1 mana if you remove it right away, but they're not. It's like, is that really scary for you? Because so it's like number one, it's like, yeah, you're always like thinking about, there's always trade offs. Like you're paying a cost. It's like, what's the cost I'm paying to try and interact with my opponent playing a Cub? And it's like, maybe I can't develop on my turn. Like imagine if you had 2 Riddlers in hand, right? Then it would probably be more obvious that like not cycling a Riddler is a pretty big cost, and you're paying a big cost to pass. Like part of here why it's a little bit more
right,
nebulous is it's like not clear how much of a cost it is to not play the Riddler because you don't have that much going on anyway. Um, and like maybe you want to Boomerang Basics or Riddler. Like if you
yeah,
have 2 Riddlers, it's a pretty big cost to be like, yeah, I want to try and kill their Cub. And it's also like, if you really break it down, like sometimes if you really think about what's happening in the interactions, they're not getting you at all by playing the Cub. Because if they play the Cub and make a mana, you're just going to kill the Cub anyway, and they spent 2 mana on the Cub. So like if you torch the Tower of the Cub,
right, right,
they never got anything off of it anyway. Like it didn't matter really. Like obviously you might get super granular, and you're like, oh, like if someone's super granular, they're like, oh, like what if the mana matters from the Cub and I need to deny it? But kind of what I'm saying is like from a top down view is like, they didn't really get any big advantage. They got 1 mana from their 2 mana card that you can just kill, and like for 1 mana even. Um,
Yeah.
so that's something. But yeah, it'd be like it's like yeah. So I mean, like the big top-down views, you always just think like, what are the upsides and downsides of the plays, right? Like, what's the upside of passing? What's the downside of passing? And then always looking at the granular, whatever things. So yeah, here again,
Yeah.
it's kind of a weird situation because it's like as I was saying about the Riddler, like, if you had two Riddlers, it would be more obvious that you probably want to cycle one, but since you have one, you almost might even want to hold it just because it might even develop you better in the sense. But yeah, it's pretty close. If it was me, I'm not sure. I think, like, again, I think it's pretty close for the reasons I was saying. Like, maybe your top card's a splash portal, and then you wish you
Yeah.
had it. And it does feel like you might want to basics your own thing, because if you think, like, what am I going to basics from them? You know what I mean? It's like, it seems like you're pretty far
Right.
from
Yeah.
casting basics on them. You have a lot of removal, so, like, maybe you just want to cycle the basics next turn. Because, like, if you think about the way the turns are going to play out, if you go cycle Riddler now, it's like, what's your turn 3 gonna be? What's your turn 4 gonna be? And maybe you're kind of scrapping to do anything good on those turns. But if you go turn 3 Riddler Boomerang basics it, then turn 4 you're gonna cycle Riddler again, and you're so yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know if that was
The basics was definitely on my mind. Like I was thinking, I could basics the Riddler on turn 3. That did cross my mind as like at least part of the reason why I decided not
yeah.
to play it. And then yeah, I hear they play this guy.
Wow, yeah. I mean, also, and there's other. Sometimes you can be thinking, like, what's the worst draw? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of a weird thing to say, but sometimes you can be like, what are the worst draws in my deck, and how can I make it better? Because, like, let's say your worst possible draw in your deck is another Boomerang basics, then holding the Riddler, can alleviate like drawing another basics. You know what I mean? Because imagine if you cycle Riddler, draw basics.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
anyway,
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I like that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
just thinking about what you can draw, and if there's like, I mean, part of it's like, what are the draws I can have, and how do the cards I play impact the draws? But that can be kind of abstract. But yeah, I guess they play Seven Fenrir. Like, yeah, here where you just like, I'm gonna abrade it, or did you have any?
Yeah, I think I was thinking of raid, seemed like the best thing to do here. Yeah, it just felt like use my mana and then I drew another Riddler.
Yeah, so I guess you just like cycle the Riddler. I mean, yeah, I mean it's kind of. I don't. Did you realize what went wrong here?
No, so I haven't.
Well, you play four Spire Bluff
Tell me
Claws,
about
right?
um the you talking about the blue red land?
Yeah, the enters tapped on turn 4 land.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I should have played the. Oh yeah, you're right. So I should have played the Riddler. I should have cycled or warped the Riddler first before playing the land, right?
Yeah, it's just free because of Spire Bluff, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, that's a really good
yeah,
point because then now it's going to enter tapped. If yeah, I didn't consider that at all. Wow.
yeah. But yeah, here you can see it's kind of interesting. Like you drew a Riddler, so it's like that's kind of one of the things that would like push you to find the Riddler. And yeah, here,
Yeah.
yeah, they do
And then here, it just felt like
play the
um
talent, sure, yeah,
just play this talent because I can boomerang the talent on the next turn.
yeah, and get
So
points.
um yeah, like I'd rather do that than boomerang the Riddler, I guess.
Yeah, get it down so you can start attacking as the prowess, and
Yeah.
it makes sense because it's like you're probably gonna get a big attack. So it looks like they're playing some. Okay,
Yeah, then they play this big
is this
guy, the
otters?
4/5.
Oh,
Oh, is this not otters? I mean, see, this is how
okay.
unfamiliar I am
Well, we
with
could.
the
Yeah, I mean, we could keep going. Well, the first card they played Summon Fenrir, I haven't seen in. I don't think I've seen in the Otters list. I would have almost thought it was
okay.
the Teamer combo deck, like if you know.
Oh, maybe okay, that's my bad. Maybe that's what it was. They have what's that enchantment? The one that recurs or whatever, like it doesn't die, it becomes an enchantment
Zone
instead.
Vitality.
The green one. Yeah, they have that. And they have the Badger moles. Maybe I just thought like, okay, that this must be the Team Marauders list. I mean, yeah, this is really just how unfamiliar I am with the. Now that I think about it, like they actually end up eventually playing a meringue. So if that's not part of the Otters list, then this must be something else.
Yeah, I mean it looks
Maybe
like
it's
Teamer mid range or like Teamer just like a Teamer mid range deck kind of.
on it.
I mean, maybe they have a hunter's
Okay.
package in their deck, but you know,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like
So
Teal
it
Dragons.
sounds like yeah, it sounds like every deck I played against is a weird one then. Maybe the Golgari with like the closest to meta stuff. Yeah, that's my bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess yeah. Here we can see on the turn. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess your only option. Like,
Yeah.
were you thinking just between like, should I class my trainer or should I like boomerang basics my own talent to start the
I
turn?
think yeah, I think I was thinking of the trainer first. Let me see what kind of what I can get, and then possibly boomerang basics on the talent. I was thinking about how do I kill this thing, so I wanted to lead with the trainer. I don't think I have any like single card answers. And I resigned myself to no matter what, I'm probably gonna have to like throw the otter into it, and like pair it with like a torch of the tower or something. Um, so I was thinking trainer first, and then depending on what I get from that, I'll probably basics the talent. And the bummer about that, though, now that I think about it, is I wouldn't be able to play the talent back out. And if I know I don't have any answers to get this thing off the board, maybe it would have been correct to basics, attack, torch this thing if they block, and then play the talent. And I think that would leave me with basically just one mana open, and that's it. But that's not what I ended up doing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first like one question always is like, how much do you really care about like removing the dragon? Um, because if you
Hmm.
don't like, it's more like it would be nice to remove this dragon, but it's you know what I mean. It's not like they untap with this dragon and the game's over. Like it has some ability that's gonna
Yeah.
completely take over the game. Um, but like you could even potentially just go like if you wanted to like you could even just go like let's say trainer doesn't find anything and then you go talent your I mean you could even basics your talent just replay the talent just get all the prowess guys down but yeah you could also just attack and then like torch the tower their guy like you can attack and if they block you can like torch the tower their guy and trade the otter and this thing was it and then you have the talent in hand and also like it's identifying like how important is it for you to replay like that's kind of the question right like let's say you're planning out this turn and you're like oh, if I want to replay my talent, then I can't trade with their dragon or attack into their dragon. But
Right.
so you have to be like, what do I care about more? It's kind of and it's like how much does that really matter for what I'm trying to do? Because it's like how much does like you having an extra like I guess although it's kind of weird. Well, I guess because there's also like some sub games where like they don't have to decide to block or whatever. But I guess so like the question is almost more like how much do I value being able to like it's almost less like well I guess the question is like like what if do I want to like is it better for me to um like do I mind that I have to take the turn off casting torch the tower on the dragon and I can't replay my second talent it's like well how much does my talent do in play
Yeah.
for me and it's like like let's say you translate the talent into being like one talent in play represents 3 damage next turn it's like how important that is that for your game plan it's like not necessarily that important like you have 2 riddlers going I mean obviously it's nice to get it down earlier but it's kind of um,
Yeah, that's a
like
good
you see
point.
what I'm saying like it's not like
Yeah.
it's like both things aren't that important like it's like like it's like if you attack with your otter into the dragon it's like maybe you're happy with that trade because none like you almost want to use your otters defensively. Like you almost have a better late game, and you don't have an answer to their flyer. So it's almost like you're happy to remove their bloom vine. But from their point of view, like they don't need a block at all or whatever. So it's not really. So like the question is almost like, am I inconvenient? Like it's almost like, do I want to offer that trade? Is the bloom vine? Because it's like you can just you
Right.
can cast a second talent. It's like well, maybe the reason that you do want to offer that trade is because you look at your hand and what's going on. It's like, well, I have 2 Quantum Riddlers. Maybe that's my plan to win the game. So therefore, I don't really care about playing my talent again. I'd be happy to just trade, with their thing, um, their their
Yeah.
their region. I guess is a way to look at it. Um, yeah, like I'm like because
Yeah.
you have to like really care. Like you have to really like you can't afford to fight over like everything. So like I don't know if I was talking about threat assessment last week, but it's like a really
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
important concept. Like you have to be like, what do I want to fight over? Because your opponent's going to play a lot of cards, and you can't you can't treat everything like it's a level 100 emergency. And even in your hand, like there's tensions, there's trade-offs, right? You're like, do I play this second talent? But that means I can't do this. Like you have to make a choice between them, and then you kind of have to think like, okay, what do I really care about? What do I value? How important is stuff? And you have to be like very, conscious about how much this stuff matters. Because if you just subconsciously think like I need to get the second talent down, but it doesn't matter, you can be giving up a lot of, whatever. I don't know if that was clear what I was saying there, or if you have
Yeah.
anything you want to add.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I think I'm the kind of person where everything that hits the board, I act like it's an emergency. And so I get zeroed in on that. And I mean, in retrospect, it probably wasn't a big deal to like I can see a case where just developing and just leaving this thing in play is fine for now. I have no idea what their next play is going to be. And just, like saving my resources. I guess I should be thinking about like, this is a big thing. It has synergies with other dragons and stuff like that. If I'm thinking about Meringue, I guess like that could be like the really big punish to trying to redeploy another talent. Like I should probably try to get some value out of this otter while the getting's good. But I mean, I certainly wasn't thinking about it in the moment. But now, that I know what this deck is, and I'm thinking through it a bit more. They're one turn out from playing a meringue. Sure, I can like recur a talent and stuff like that. But like going up against, like them clearing my board and then going up against like two big dragon flyers is probably not where I want to be. So I guess like knowing what they're playing, I should. It's probably, I guess, correct to not worry too much about redeploying talent, and you know try to see if I can throw this otter into this thing and trade, so I can get some kind of value out of it.
Yeah, like the reason I was kind of stuttering before is it's kind of like a weird thing because like you attack for 1 or 2 damage, your opponent um, doesn't have to block your guy, right? So
Right.
it's almost they can decide just to take the three. So it's almost like in the back of your head, you're like, you know, you're thinking like, oh, like, do I want to do this? Like that's why I'm kind of breaking it down more into like, how is it inconveniencing
Yeah. Yeah.
myself to do that trade? Because it's not like you're going to think about it and then they're going to block, right? It's kind of like it's an option for them. But maybe that's not relevant because you should consider all the options. Also, there's like tertiary things like you're talking about that 6-drop meringue. Maybe you almost want to hold the boomerang basics to bounce their meringue. Maybe I mean maybe not if depending what you draw and whatever. Or like maybe you want to,
Yeah.
but it's almost like before you even think that much. If you're always, I guess another good thing is like if you're always gonna play the Thunder Trap trainer first, you can just play the Thunder Trap before even thinking about any of this. Because let's say you Thunder Trap and you see a get out, then maybe you just want to pass with the get out up, right? So you don't even have to think
Right.
about this,
Yeah.
at all. So like I guess if you're gonna lead with Thunder Trap, we can almost just start with there before like because then it just saves like mental energy. It's like just start with Thunder Trap, see what you draw, see how that changes information, right?
Yeah. That heuristic was definitely what I think that's what I followed, is like, let's just lead with Thunder Trap, and then I can figure out like, what my options are from there. So yeah, I deployed Thunder Trap, and then I have two torches. And so now the torches face up. And uh let's see what I do here. I think at this point I'm probably thinking that I have to play the basics if I want to, or I guess maybe I don't.
Well, I guess
Actually, yeah. So I don't know what I was thinking here, right? Because I'm gonna lose my talent if they block, right?
yeah, we can like pause just for a second. I mean, one thing I wanted to say that's kind of like
Yeah.
might seem off topic, but like watching this game is exactly what I like about lessons because I feel like if you're playing lessons, you would completely be smothering them. Like they would have no way, but since we have to win like this fair way, it's gonna be hard because we have to grind for their meringues. Like not only does lessons have combustion technique, so you can literally just kill their dragon for 2 mana, but like you would also just be like playing cards like art, like you would be threatening them to respond to you. Like you're playing these artist talents, you're playing these monuments, they're forced to respond to you. Whereas now we're kind of just dilly dallying
Yeah.
around. They are casting whatever silly nonsense 5-mana dragons, but we don't really have a good punish because our hands like fire magics and stuff. Anyway, like I don't know. I think it's like that's just like one thing I noticed. I'm like, oh, like watching this, I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I like the lessons deck because it's like so versatile almost in a way. But anyway, like yeah, I mean, here your
Yeah.
choices like was the boomerang basics is like, do I want to play basics, on my talent, just to cycle it to hit a land? Like you're like maybe you could try and hold the basics to what do you call it? So that like if they play a dragon, you can basics it. It's like maybe you can warp the Riddler, and also there's like weird micro decisions. Like it's like let's say for example that you want to hold on to the boomerang basics, so you're like I want to warp the Riddler, but then you might be like, well, should I attack for one because they're not going to block my torture tower, and then it's like that's kind of an interesting I guess like game theory going
Yeah.
on because it's like like one I guess the easy way to break it down because a lot of times people will be lazy and they'll be like oh my opponent won't block and I don't mean like that like good players will say that too they'll be like they won't block but like the actual game theory is more like am I like there's two aspects I mean I guess one you could say is the speculative what do I think they will do but one is what do I actually want for
Hmm.
myself to happen and it's also like what am I accomplishing so like let's say I wanted to warp the Riddler what do you accomplish by attacking for one well you get one damage which is like I don't know 4% of their life here so it's like kind of meaningful, but it's not that meaningful. And I would just be like, how unhappy am I if I have to torch their thing? It's like you're not that unhappy, but like you could also. It's kind of weird because it's like if you boomerang basics your own talent, then you don't need to bargain the talent, right? Because you just torch. So it's like if you
Right.
cast boomerang
Yeah.
basics pre-combat, you don't need to bargain it. But it's like, so it's kind of like this weird web or Jenga towers building up. Like honestly, if it was a live game for me, I might be like, well, it's only like one damage, so I'm not going to spend that much energy trying to decipher if I should make the attack or not. But obviously, it can matter,
Yeah.
and you can be like, and a lot of people are just going to feel like intuitively like there's no way they're going to block, so I should attack. But I guess the other thing that's weird is like if you attack, one question is like should you cast a boomerang basics pre-combat to get extra damage? Because if you boomerang basics your talent and they don't block, then you get one extra damage if you
Right.
redeploy it. But do you want to boomerang basics your Thunder Trap trainer? I mean, I guess maybe not, but maybe you would consider it because you said maybe they have Meringue or whatever, and they're gonna bounce your auto tokens anyway. So I don't know. I don't know how clear that whole
Yeah.
thread was, but I guess like yeah, I'm trying to say your options are like you have these weird options of like you can boomerang basics pre-combat to get more prowess. You can have the option to cycle the Riddler just because maybe you want to hold on to boomerang basics. You can like go for boomerang basics on your talent to like make a really big board for next turn. And you also might be in a situation where like even though it's the most natural play they have next turn is hard casting a meringue, it might be kind of tough for you. So like sometimes you might be like, I should still go for the talent, bounce the talent, because like if they don't have meringue, it's so good for me, and if they do have meringue, it's going to be tough anyway.
Right. Yeah.
If they're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
boomerang basics anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think probably playing around meringue is. I mean, it does make sense. Like I have, I press my advantage and try to break serve and like get the otter tokens out. Like I mean, it's not like I'm playing a Riddler or anything next turn. I don't know. Maybe I top deck a what's it called, a splash portal. I guess like looking at it now, I don't know. I feel like it would have been better to basics the talent. Even if I'm gonna make this attack, like I should have basics the talent so I don't have to cost myself sacrificing the talent. And I don't know, at least for me, like I've noticed that the level two on the talent like comes up quite a bit. Like that it's a really powerful effect, especially in like grindy games. And it just seems I always feel maybe it's not correct to feel this way, but I always feel bad having to sacrifice it to torch. It's just like not what I want to be doing. And I always find myself regretting it down the line. But like, yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to basics like the Thunder Trap trainer. I guess that's not a terrible line either. I don't know. Like it's I mean, let me think this through. So I don't think I want to be warping the Riddler. Um, I think I'd rather basic something and see if I can draw into like a splash portal or something like that. There's 4 copies in the deck. And then maybe I can actually like warp the Riddler on a future turn and like, get it for quote unquote a discount. Um, so I feel like attacking, if I'm gonna do that, I probably should basics the talent. Um, and that's not what I ended up doing, but Like I don't think it was like I wasn't trying to save the basics in the moment. I think I was just being impulsive and just like, let's attack. Let's see if they block. And to be honest, I don't even remember if they did block. I think I thought I was thinking the same thing you're saying. Like I thought there was a very high probability that they don't block, and then I guess I didn't even prioritize the extra damage. So like if they don't block and I attack, I lost a point of damage because I didn't boomerang the talent. I don't think there's a better target for the talent. Maybe you could make an argument that the Thunder Trap trainer. I mean, they did play like a Fenrir, like who knows what else they have in the deck. But I I felt like I'm gonna fall behind really quickly because they're playing like really big creatures, and like my removal is just not that good. So like, let me use my removal while I can, and like hopefully they block, and I could try to actually make my removal worth something, and then yeah, I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I mean,
I just didn't really think it through much.
one thing that's kind of interesting, I guess, like if you just try and simplify your decisions into like the biggest picture things, like one other big picture thing happening here is like, do you want to use, like I was kind of saying it before, like do you want to use boomerang basics on yourself or one of their big dragons? Because you could imagine, like you said, you don't have
Right.
a Riddler, but you could imagine if you maybe go like, let's say they face up had Meringue River region in hand, it might be good to warp the Riddler this turn so that next turn they play Meringue,
Yeah.
they bounce your token, and then maybe you can boomerang basics their meringue at some point, because then you won't really have permanence. Like you could even go like boomerang basics the meringue, and maybe then you like use multiple burn spells to take down the river regent, or maybe you like draw land, and I mean it's gonna be like maybe then you like level the talent to like get the boomerang basics back. I don't know if that's really that good of a play, but or maybe you
Yeah.
do the other thing, and also like one thing is like if you do like on the one hand, it doesn't seem that good to bounce the meringue, but at least it forces them if they wanted to get back into play to spend the whole turn replaying it. But I guess what I'm saying is like
Right.
as you're saying, they have big creatures, you don't have good removal for it. You could even potentially like let's say they cast another Bloom Vibe Regent, maybe it pays off well to boomerang basics that regent, and like since you have all these Riddlers, maybe you don't need like the extra card advantage of bouncing your own talent, and like maybe making more otter tokens isn't that helpful here because they're just going to have like really big dragons that you can't race anyway. Obviously, there's a lot of small things going on, I guess, but that's kind of like the big picture. Is like, is there ever a world where I might want to boomerang basics one of their dragons, um, or whatever? But yeah, it is kind of close with the get doing your own talent because it feels much
Yeah.
better, to just bounce your talent and replay it. It's much more fun than
Yeah.
playing a Riddler, which feels pretty bad, pretty bad. But it's like if you really think about the big picture, maybe it's realistic. And obviously, it's kind of weird because I don't really know what your opponent's deck is, like a Teamer mid-range deck, but like probably Teamer Dragons was like I would guess maybe they have Dispelling Exile and like Molten Exile and stuff if you know the dragon stuff. Um,
Yeah, I'm not even familiar with it. Like what's the smugglers something? That's kind of the only thing that I think they ended up playing that. I didn't even know about the smugglers.
Smuggler Surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that card. I
that's the
didn't even know about that, which got
yeah,
me
that's a
pretty
more
good
fun.
later.
Yeah, that's like kind of like a combo card. Well, there's just two. I mean, I don't know if it's relevant to break down the weird dragon interaction, but there's like a counter spell that's like. Did you play Standard back in like 2014 when there was a dragon deck in Standard? There's just like spells that are better if you have a dragon, basically. Like there's a removal spell, but if you have a dragon, it's better.
Oh, okay.
And
I
it's
didn't play
like,
it that time.
okay, there's like a counter spell, and it's like counter unless yeah. There's just like a counter spell. It's like counter unless you pay 2, but it's 4 if you have a dragon. Or there's like a removal spell that's like good and better if you have a dragon. So I'm like, maybe they're playing those. Like that would be a reason to play dragons. Anyway, but maybe that's just like a team
Yeah.
deck. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, I guess we went over the turn a lot, and also like
Yeah.
you can be just
So
think yeah. Sorry,
no,
what
go
were you
on.
saying? Well, I was just gonna say, like, you can just always be thinking of like those classic kind of like heuristics they talk about, where you just think like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, what are the pros and cons of the plays? But then just going into like the replay, being like, okay, do these pros and cons make sense? Like, like maybe it's intuitive to bounce talent, but when you think it really through, it's like, does talent really matter in this game? Because it's like they're at 23 life. It's not like the prowess tokens are really beating them down
Right.
that quickly. You know what I mean? It's like maybe I need to shift what I'm
Yeah.
fighting over into just like this air combat or whatever. Get my Riddlers down, fight over their things, whatever. And there's also like these mini game theory questions of like, let's say I want to cycle Riddler, like let's say my preferred play is cycle Riddler, but should I attack for one just because? And then it's like, well, maybe then I am happy because then I can use a Torch Tower to get rid of that, and then I boomerang basics my own Thunder Trap or whatever. And obviously it's weird because like boomerang base like there's another weird thing where the card draw is kind of weird because you have so much card draw here, but it's and like in theory more card draw is good, but it's like oh like how much do I care about replaying my Thunder Trap Trainer if I have all these Quantum Riddlers to cast anyway that are card draw? So
Right.
there's like all these like
Yeah.
weird subtle interplay of factors. But I guess it's the easiest to just like start at the top down and just kind of break it down more simply. But I don't know if you like if I spend too long on a turn, then maybe it just gets confusing and it's like I don't even know what's happening anymore. So like yeah, but yeah, we can keep going. I don't know
Yeah.
if there's anything you want to add.
So yeah. No, yeah, I think like intuitively I felt like, like let's see, let's offer the trade. If I lose my talent, like too bad. Um my torch is probably not going to get better from here on out. Like, they're already at 6 mana next turn. And figured I'll probably have other targets for the basics. Hadn't considered how bad it would feel to like, be holding a Thundertrap Trainer when I'm trying to like deploy Riddlers and stuff like that. But I really like your line of warping the Riddler, as I think, especially thinking about Meringue, um, and just like not really prioritizing like board development, at least right now. And I don't know, like, I mean, they would probably deploy it to kill like a single otter token, but yeah. So I ended up, yeah, I attacked. I think they didn't go for it. I mean, if I remember, or maybe they did, I don't remember. Okay, yeah. So they didn't go for it this time.
Yeah, it makes
So
sense. I mean,
basically,
it's funny
yeah,
because like
nothing
you could
happens.
almost
And
say like rather than even thinking about all this, you could almost just say just attack, just attack for one and then see what happens. But like obviously
yeah,
like you want to consider like it's just like the only thing you have to really think about is like if they block, am I unhappy with that or whatever? And it's like if you're happy because you have Torch and you can just boomerang the own thing. Because like I guess the thing I'm trying to say is like there's two aspects. There's like one aspect of playing Magic is like thinking efficiently because you have a limited amount of time to process the turns, and the other turn is thinking
yeah.
like doing a deep dive on what really matters in the turn. So you kind of have to blend the two. Like like on the one hand, I'm trying to get the
Mm,
big picture of like, do we like we have to think like, do we really like is putting more auto tokens in play really what matters here for all these reasons? But also like yeah, doing these other things. But anyway, so yeah, it looks like you bounce the auto token, and your plan's probably to replay it.
yeah.
So yeah, you draw lands.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. And you're like, yeah, I can get my autos. And it's also it's just thinking about like how much. Like it's kind of like when I talk about your strat development, like how much does what your opponent's doing matter, but it's also like how much does your own you know threat matter here? Like how like is your auto really threatening them that much? Is it that important to get down? But anyway, we can keep going to
Yeah.
see what happens.
And this is where I get, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the meringue turn.
Yeah. So yeah, they bounce
Lose
the
my
autos
otters.
and
Take
take.
4.
Yeah. Okay, that's a lot
So
of
then I
cards.
draw a splash portal.
Yeah. So you have like a
So
perfect trend lined up, I guess, basically.
yeah, I think it's Warp, Riddler, Splash Portal, um, and then just see what I draw, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you can't go down to one card in hand because everything. I didn't know if it was possible, but yeah, I guess because the Riddler cantrips are gonna have two cards in hand if you cast both torches. So yeah.
Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, I guess I mean, if I think through this, like I could torch, fire magic, and
Yeah,
I could deal 3, 5, 6. I wouldn't be able to kill the meringue, so that would feel pretty bad, right?
yeah. I was just trying to check if you could go down to one. Like if you just go like double torch the Bloom Vine and then you Riddler and then you flicker it if you ever get to draw two. But you
Ah,
have too many cards, so it's not even a thing.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
So I guess you just start with Riddler,
So,
yeah, and then you're probably just gonna
yep.
like splash portal it and probably double burn the Bloom Vine Regent. Yeah.
Yeah, so draw land, splash portal, draw another Riddler. I'm like Riddler flooded. And I think I just warped it here, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Um,
If you were playing
maybe,
again, do you
maybe,
think you would make the same play? Or oh yeah, like, we can pause here for a second. I can
yeah. So
pause every
actually,
5 seconds, but
maybe no, no, it's all good. Maybe I didn't. I think I was actually thinking about I'm gonna block the meringue and either double torch hit or torch and scry with the talent. I think that was where my head was at. Or no, I think I was thinking I'm gonna take 6 from the meringue. I'll go down to 10. I'm gonna block their 4/5 if maybe they're expecting, to like Riddler and the 4/5 bounce, and then I'll, torch it, um, and like try to get one of their flyers off the board. Um, and I thought that would be better than warping the Riddler because otherwise I'm facing down a lot of damage the turn after that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like warping the Riddler seems really bad to me because I feel like we can just
Hmm.
we can just kill the Bloomvine Regent and we take like 40% of the damage off the board or whatever. Like they're attacking for 10, you double kill the Regent, you take that down to 6 damage, so you can have another draw step, whatever. Um, and
Yeah.
like yeah, there's a consideration where you're like, oh, like maybe my plan is to the attack was the meringue, I block it, and then I can torch the tower after. But it's not that like your Quantum Riddler dies in that case, so it's not even like you get them that good because because your Riddler
Right.
dies, right? So then you just and then they still have the Bloomvine Regent in play. But obviously that maybe if it's like face up, like that's gonna work, then that might be a better play because you'd obviously rather kill the you know River Regent than the Meringue. Like to me, it was just intuitive to be like, okay, they have we have removal and we can kill one of their dragons, so like we should just do that now before they untap and could have like a counter spell. But I like the main reason not to kill their thing is like maybe if you want to try and go for killing their Meringue, but it's not even like obviously it gets nuanced if you like really get into the weeds, but it's like you're still like you know blocking. Like how good is that for you? Like you're blocking with your Riddler, and then maybe they attack with the Meringue, you take 4, and then your Riddler's dead, and your Riddler could double block if they don't have anything anyway. But yeah, like did you consider double killing their Regents at all here? Like or not the Regent? Yeah, that's what it's called. They're both called Regents, I guess.
Yeah. I guess they are, huh? Yeah. Hey, your audio, I don't know if your mic
Oh,
turned off or something, but you sound more faint now.
okay. Let me. Do I sound better now? Let me. I just moved, I guess.
I mean, you're still clear. It just like the volume just went down a lot. I don't know if it was like your mic, you went to like you're on a different mic or something.
Oh no, I should be on the same one. Like if it sounds bad, let me know. But
Okay, no, this is
yeah.
actually good. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like to me, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, I think the line I thought through was like basically I need to like grind through these big creatures, and yeah, I should prioritize getting the green regent or whatever off the board, and I figured like keep keep the Riddler up and block, and just use a torch or something to do that. So I think that instinctually I was like, oh, let's warp in the Riddler, use the mana, but then I realized like I'm pretty sure I came to the same realization that that was a bad play.
Yeah, it's like some Freudian analysis now. It's like why is that what you want to do? Those are we have to condition the better
Yeah.
designers. It's like
Yeah.
those. It's like why did you want to cycle your cantrip instead of kill the dragon? Well, like yeah, the thing here is like probably maybe what you're thinking is I want to use my tortured towers to get rid of their river regent. And it's like not obvious if it's the better play to do the green play, but it's just like to me it's like the smooth brain
Yeah.
line. It's just like let's just get the green dragon off the board. We can use our mana, use our burn spells, and just try and deal like with the meringue later, like by double blocking it or finding a boomerang basics. Because we're gonna like be able to potentially draw a lot of cards next turn. Because let's say, like the weird thing is sometimes like the thing is like when I'm thinking about a line, sometimes I don't know if I just like say what I'm gonna do, if it's like the best way to go about things, because it's like okay that's cool, but that's what you would do, but it doesn't necessarily explain it. So sometimes I'm on the edge, but like I'm not sure like what's the best thing to say. But
Yeah.
I guess like what I'm trying to say, like the line I'm seeing is like the thing about double killing their Bloom Vine, you take 6 from their blue guy, whatever, Meringue, you go to 10 life, you untap, and you can potentially get to the one or less card. You can get to the one or less cards, and then you can draw a lot of cards because you could go like
Oh yeah,
you,
yeah.
yeah, you can just cast the fire magic just to get rid of it if you wanted to, play the land, and then you can either warp or cast a Riddler, and then you draw like 3 cards or whatever. I don't even know how many cards. One, two, three, 3 cards, and then it's like now your board presence is you have 2 Riddlers and a Thunder Trap, and if they attack with the Meringue again, they bring you to 4, and so you get to untap from that point. But then at that point, maybe you can find Boomerang basics, and obviously they had one turn to play 7 mana of spells, so you see what they do. But you have a lot of, like I described, you have like 14 toughness of blockers. You have a Thunder Trap that can jump. You have 2 Riddlers that can potentially block. So that's kind of what I was seeing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, if we cast Double Torch now, we can get towards having 1 card in hand, basically. To really
Yeah,
draw a lot of
that
cards.
didn't even. Yeah, that's so good. That did not even cross my mind. Like, getting the lower cards, and like, yeah, I mean, these are pretty bad cards anyway in this matchup. Yeah, I was thinking like torch number one will kill this guy, torch number two will kill this guy, and I'll sacrifice my Riddler, in that exchange as well. And got pretty stuck on that. I'm like, oh, I need to save these torches to help, to trade with these creatures. And yeah, I didn't even consider like, like let's draw into some more cards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being like the
I like that
wasteful
line a
life.
lot.
I mean, you always hear like that when you learn Magic. The first thing that your smart friend likes to say is like, the last life is life that matters," or whatever. Like people love to say that in terms of Magic. Oh, if you win at 1 life, it still counts as a win. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
But it's like here you kind of are, because like if you kill the River Regent, like you have a lot of card draw. They're attacking you, but like you can kind of absorb the hit. Like they're punching you, you can't stop them punching you, but like you can just take the time to just try and like draw a bunch of cards and be like, yeah, they're gonna hit me for now, but then I'm gonna try and like have that big turn like 3 turns from now and do the classic life total as an advantage.
Yeah, yeah, and this is probably unfair to say because I know they play Smuggler's Surprise now, but like, I mean, it does insulate me a bit against like hexproof effects. Like if I'm trying to set up a double block, against the River Regent with the Riddlers, like knowing now that they're playing like Smuggler's Surprise, like I don't want to play a torch into a River Regent. Like that's just a kind of a blowout. I lose my Riddler in the exchange. Like I probably want to go for a double block in the future against this thing, I guess. But yeah, that's just more like post analysis crap, like where I already know what they're playing.
Yeah, I guess like
Um,
yeah. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
One I mean, one thing that's like weird about the situation, because you're like, oh, like I'm like, should you play around these cards? Whatever, can you afford to play it? Like one thing is like, yeah, like a question to ask is like how far behind or ahead I am, right? Because like, if you don't think you're that far behind, then it's kind of intuitive to just like double like torch, take out the green dragon, because then it's just clean. They're not going to do anything weird, counter spells, hexproof spells, whatever. But
Yeah,
maybe if you're like, man, I'm just so far behind that like I need to like that's kind of that's the real question in the back of your head, that you're like, I need to use my torch, like you're like, I need to line up my torch tower on the Meringue, even though that's hard because any protection spell, any removal spell blows me out or whatever.
right.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Like
but
in this moment, I didn't feel super behind, like but um, I mean, I don't know, maybe I should have, but like I felt like. And that's the funny thing because I'm saying I didn't feel super behind, but I was still playing like desperately. So there's probably something there, where I gotta think about my perspective on the matchup and how I'm matching my play patterns to that, I guess.
yeah, that's what I mean, because like my play is kind of like the chill play. It's like I'm just gonna use double burn spells, whatever, everything is fine. I feel like the passive with mana
Yeah.
up is like the everything is horrible. I need to like try and somehow burn their dragons by blocking them in combat. Um,
Right. Yeah.
so, and it's even like tough because it's like, imagine if you block and you go for like the kick torch, and then it's like they'll just like counter it. You can't even kick the second torch. Like the first one has to resolve because you don't
Yeah.
have everything to bargain. So yeah, but like that's kind of like the thing, because like it's like that's kind of like what can be hard. Like if you had to say like one thing that like makes a like the most important thing for making good plays, you could say, is almost like understanding when you're ahead and behind, and understanding when you have to take risks and when you're conservative. Like that kind of is like the big picture thing that defines everything else. And I don't know where I was
Yeah.
going with that, but that's like, yeah, it'll come up all the time where
No,
it's
that
like,
that makes it makes a lot of sense. I mean, ironically, I put myself behind. I think with the line that I took. So
yeah. So
yeah,
yeah. Anyway, so we pass. I mean, if I was playing against this
yeah.
and
So
it was a RC and there's no deck list, I would be pretty confused by what my opponent has. I would assume like a team or mid range deck, and I wouldn't really
yeah,
know. But yeah, so let's
I
see.
know I look crazy calling this Team Marauders. I think I actually did play against Team Marauders, but I must have confused it. It was on Arena or something. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, this is something else. So here I did it during combat because I don't know why I did that.
and they just think about fire magicking their guy because it's a 4/5
I
deck.
guess actually, yeah, that would have been a way better. I mean, that didn't even cross my mind. Yeah, I just didn't do the
Yeah.
math there. Yeah, that would have been better.
But
Um,
anyway, we can. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's probably not a. As you're saying, like if the yeah, you could wait to second combat maybe, assuming there's no punish for it. So anyway, so we'll just see what
yeah,
happens to this other guy.
I was afraid of them doing something post combat. Like I don't remember what though. Like there was something on my mind, but I'm not saying it made sense. But yeah. So they play this guy, and this I believe kills my Riddler.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that's one thing I almost was gonna mention was blocking. Like if you block their Bloom Vine, you enable their like red damage spells a little bit. Um,
Yeah,
so we'll see. I mean, it's looking rough. So let's see. Did this card not braid or
yeah.
something?
So this is basically the turn where it all went to crap.
Yeah. So they do that. Then let's see. They pass. Okay. Then you can like cast a Riddler,
So
I guess. Is that what you're thinking, or?
yeah, so cast a Riddler, keep up torch, and hope I can block. Like throw the Riddler in front of the meringue and kill it. Um, that felt like the only real play.
Yeah, you could try and
I
like
don't know if like
bounce their dragon, but it's kind of marginal. Like probably not worth you know talking about too much. Like there's obviously marginal details you could talk about.
mm, yeah,
Like because of the fact that Riddler has this draw one clause, you could be like, oh, can I be throwing away my burn spells just to get to that faster? You could be like, oh, should I like is it good for me to bounce their guy or not? But seems fine to just play the Riddler, probably play tap land
yeah,
and see what happens, or
yeah.
maybe untap
So
land just to try and block
I
the
think
guy.
I play the untap land to hold up the
Yeah,
torch.
makes sense. Seems makes sense.
Yeah, and here, I mean, I played the Riddler in my hand, right? Like, I mean, or am I supposed to play the one in exile? I think I was thinking of like, unload my hand. Oh, I guess not. So I don't know. Is this a bad play here? Playing the warped one. I guess it's. I mean, at the end of the day, I end up with the same amount of cards in my hand, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I would
I mean, this
say,
gives me a bit more value.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of the best, way to say it, because like I don't want to just be, like giving all the answers. Like I want to be like showing the way to, form the thoughts. But like as you see, like it's just the
Yeah,
downside and upside's pretty clear. It's like if you play the one from your hand, then the upside is you have less cards in hand, so you're closer to the draw two. And if you play from the one from exile, then you have the optionality to warp the one in hand, and maybe you find
right.
Splash
Yeah,
Portal,
yeah,
or maybe you want to warp it. Like that's kind of the thing, and that's what I'd be thinking. I mean, intuitively, I was thinking play the one from hand to try and get to the zero cards in hand. But yeah, like you could draw Splash Portal, or you could, that's kind of the question, right? And it seems close either way.
yeah. I guess like one way is more sure, right? Like Splash Portal drawing that is like that's gambling
Speculative,
to
yeah.
some extent, right? Yeah, and like getting my hand size to be smaller is more of like it's deterministic. Um, so like thinking through it, I guess like I mean, yeah, even as I watch this, I was like, obviously I play the one from hand. And like as I'm watching it, I don't know, it just seemed more intuitive. But then I watch myself play it from warp.
Yeah, I mean
So
it's kind of interesting
you
because
know,
like Splash Portal, if you draw it, it's like so bad for you, sort of. But like if you keep the one in hand, so it's kind of interesting. It's like, do I do the guaranteed play or try and make it so that if I draw Splash Portal, it has more value or whatever? But yeah, seems
Yeah.
uh, seems totally fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
to
Draw a Fire Bluff Canal. Did I miss a land drop here?
no, you played the untapped
Or
land
oh no no
because
I
you wanted to keep the red up.
yeah
Yeah.
right.
Okay, yeah, so they play Surveil Land,
This is
tap.
where
So
this is where it all
yeah,
ends.
the way they smuggler
Um,
surprise and 5 for 1. Yeah, the card was really good in limited because it was like a protection spell that also drew cards, which is nice.
yeah.
Well, it was more like a draw spell that can sometimes be protection. Like I don't know why they put the protection mode on the card. It's pretty weird.
That is, yeah. So feels so bad.
Okay, so
Draw get out.
yeah,
So I'm thinking like let's surveil and then play I mean this just feels it's over, right? Like I mean, what am I going to do?
well they
Chump
have
block with the
well you can take 1 damage at least.
yeah.
But yeah, obviously you're pretty behind. Like if there was odds, I'd say they're like 70-80% plus to win. I don't know what your odds. You know what your odds are. Like, oh, that's at least
Yeah.
it's like a looting land. I mean, the fact it's kind of weird. I don't know if Smuggler's Surprise has like multi kicker. I'm pretty sure. So they specifically chose not to kick it. Like, I don't know if you've read the full what the full card does, but like they could have. It has
Oh
like
yeah,
a
yeah,
divination.
yeah.
Yeah, it has like
Yeah,
a
I remember thinking like what's going on there? Yeah.
yeah, like they chose like that's kind of weird. Like, do they have like 1 or 2 cards? I can't see exactly, but like they chose not like the fact that they
Have
chose
one.
not to use
Yeah.
divination is kind of interesting. I mean, like here it's like it's not even worth thinking about because you're just so dead anyway. But it would just kind of be like that's. I guess that's kind of what I was saying. Like you're not. It doesn't look like you're that far behind. Like they have 1 card with no whatever, but they chose not to try and draw 2 cards, which seems like bizarre. Like it's like either they punted and forgot about it. Like honestly, I feel like that's more likely because it just seems so hard to pass up in this spot, paying 3 mana to draw 2 cards. But anyway, we can just see what happens. It's not like
Yeah.
there's any
I think
strategic
I had them
advantage.
on I think I had them on maybe another smuggler surprise or something, and
Yeah,
that I don't know, like
like it's
so
almost
that
hard.
way they can
It's almost hard to
yeah.
because isn't Smuggler Surprise like 2 mana for the protection mode? So even if they kicked it,
Oh, that's right. So they wouldn't have enough mana to play
well, I think
the
the
divination
draw
and the
mode is like
protection,
three
right?
mana, right? So they could like they have 5 mana. They could have just paid 3 mana, done the divination, and then.
Right.
But
Yeah.
anyway, it's kind of like irrelevant to anything. It's just kind of funny that they didn't kick their thing. It's like
So I mean, I don't know. I think I was thinking of like, should I warp here,
trying to save
rather than
cards.
play it out?
Yeah, I mean maybe
Yeah.
that's not complete. I mean it doesn't seem completely crazy. I mean I don't know. It seems like a pretty rough spot no matter what way you slice it. But I could see warp being better because you're like I just need more cards and I have enough mana. Wow,
Yeah. It
that's so
looks like I
smart.
didn't end up warping. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, this felt bad. I'm like, okay, so I didn't warp. I drew a splash portal. And then, I mean, yeah, I guess like in retrospect, if I was thinking of playing to my outs, I'm going to pretend they have nothing in their hand. I should have probably warped and hoped to draw splash portal into torch, right? Or I mean, that's insane, but I don't know, because like here, I mean, I guess I mean, no, I don't
I mean
know.
it's like it's a weird
Here,
spot because it's not necessarily that bad of a spot. They have 1 card left, so like it could be a land. It's just like I was saying, it's just weird that they chose not to kick it. But maybe it's just
right?
I don't know. It doesn't. Maybe it could just be like yeah, maybe they just forgot that it has that mode and keep going on. I guess, or maybe they
Yeah,
tried something good
yeah,
on top. I don't know if they played the surveil land that turn, and maybe they surveilled something good on top. They didn't want to mill over. Well, I mean, let's see
yeah.
if they play Ugin here. Oh no, another one was all
So yeah,
white.
they have the other one.
So yeah, maybe they just surveilled it on top because they played the surveil line last turn. It's like, okay, yeah, the game's over. Just
Yeah, and this is yeah. I think I just concede here. This is it.
you can go. Yeah, I mean they have all the limited all stars, so they might be a good draft player. That Volt Tyrant was insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So yeah, I think I scoop it up here, and then sideboarding. So I took out their braid. What else did I do?
that yeah, there's a Spidey sense, I
I'm
guess.
putting the stuff on the right side that yeah felt like it could be
Considering,
worth playing.
yeah, well, I guess I'll just see how how you sideboard. So you're looking at the Pierce. Did you
I was
consider like the
considering
Wraith as
maybe
the?
Spell
Did
Pierce.
you consider like the Ral or the whatever the Serpent?
I the I don't know. Maybe I should have. Like I felt like the Ral wouldn't be good because they're playing these like flyers. I ended up taking it out. Um, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. The Serpent too, like I mean it's a 5/5, I guess, but it just felt like they're playing these big creatures, smuggler surprise, like they don't really have any card draw, at least that I saw. So
Well, in a way,
I opted for
if they
yeah.
have like this really oppressive late game, like don't you kind of want your threats to like pressure them in a way? I mean, I guess you're saying that some of the threats
Mm,
can attack the planeswalkers, but let's say they have this really strong late game with like all these 7 drops and stuff. Like, I mean, I guess you can see the cards in your deck and whatever, but I guess that's why intuitively I'm looking at Ral and the Serpent because I'm like, my opponent has a lot of expensive threats. Maybe I want to side in my threats so that I can
I see.
put
Yeah.
pressure on them. And like the Ral, like Meringue River Regent's really expensive. It's 6 mana. Like the five mana 4/5 is not that good at attacking Ral because like you play Ral, you uptick it. He has a lot of loyalty. You know, um,
Right, right.
they're kind
Yeah.
of playing a
No, that's a
teamer.
really
Like
good
the
point.
game's gonna go long. Like I'm kind of thinking, I just want threats and like pressure my opponent and the game. And like with the Serpent, it's like you might have counter spells. You're passing to them, and like they're teamer, so a lot of their removal will be like killing your smaller things, like your braids and stuff. And they're not like that fast at pressuring you in a way because they're just kind of like.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I was kind of thinking. I'm like, we don't want the game to go too
No,
long,
you're
so I'm
right.
trying my
Yeah.
best to pressure them to like put pressure on basically. I like a kind of like a controlling kind
Yeah,
of a
that that
deck. Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, like I kept a I mean,
Yeah, like
yeah, I
maybe
don't
you
know. I
don't want
kept
to
an obliterating bolt and torches. Like I don't
yeah,
know what I
counter
was
that
thinking.
much.
I mean,
Yeah. Obviously, it's kind of tough because
yeah,
like you
yeah.
have removal spells, but like most of your removal spells can't hit big creatures. You need to be on the Lessons Life to get the combustion technique. Like
Right.
I was saying earlier, and like like it's like there's a card that does something when it dies, and I'm like, but this exiles right. Like, okay, I don't even remember what card it was, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
you
it's one of the
actually
lessons, right? Like there's a like an exile burn spell or
yeah,
something
it's like
in
well, it's a
lessons.
terminate because like usually blue red. The problem with blue red, your opponent plays big creatures, but there's the 2 mana red
Yeah.
lesson that's like basically like deal X damage, where it's the number of lessons in your graveyard, and you know that means you can kill these big creatures and not have to be freaking out about that you're going to combine an obliterating bolt with a with a burst lightning or whatever to take it down. But anyway, so yeah, it looks like you have a
Yeah.
pretty bad hand, so that's pretty lucky, I guess,
Yep.
maybe, because you don't have to think about it. That's the optimistic view.
Yeah, pretty easy mulligan. And then I just bottom
Yeah,
the
burst
burst
lightning.
lightning here.
I mean, maybe, yeah, like,
Yeah.
if it was a RAL or something, then you'd have to be like, think about what to bottom, but since it's burst
Yeah, I guess like in
lightning,
theory that could have been a row, right? Like
yeah,
so
so,
yeah. Didn't draw uh
yeah.
red source, but I don't think it matters here. And I mean my choices are Thundertrap Trainer or Opt, and I decided like let's spend all my mana.
Yeah, this is giving me
And then I can
flashbacks
opt next
to
turn.
when I played Corey Steelcutter in Standard, and I think I played one Thundertrap Trainer, and like these spots where it's just like such a bad cantrip because like you want like it can't find you lands when you want lands, and like it misses like 5% of the time. I think I actually at the PT Final Fantasy I played one Thundertrap Trainer and one Roiling Dragonstorm because I couldn't tell which one was worse or better, but back, yeah. Not to go too off topic, but it was funny because Thundertrap Trainer, I actually thought it was like kind of good at like with Monstrous Rage against Mono Red to defensively block compared to Giant Storm. But anyway,
Oh, interesting.
or like
Yeah.
blocking Drakehatcher. Like Drakehatcher was really big, so like even though Thundertrap Trainer sucks so bad, like blocking Drakehatcher really mattered if you remember what the card did. Um,
Yeah, yeah. The
anyway,
Thundertrap Trainer is that's pretty interesting.
but I remember I played
Love
one
that.
and I like hated it, and I was like so unsure if I should play it, and that's bringing me back. It's like, man, like this is such a mediocre cantrip. But anyway, yeah,
So I think I took the talent here, because what if I don't draw another land? Or I don't know. Maybe I took the. I don't
well,
remember,
like let's say
but
it was live
yeah,
now
I took
because
the
this is
talent.
a good this is a good sit on the couch moment of like, what, let's look here.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if it was you playing live now, like it's you and you're playing, like, is it obvious which one you go for, or like, are you kind of thinking about it? Is it close?
I mean, like, okay, so a Storm Chaser's talent, I'm on the play. It's another threat, and I have an opt. I could probably find another land. I'm going to see what, three more cards. Um, but thinking through it a bit more, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess like, I mean, that still feels like the play. The stock up, I'll probably be able. I mean, to my point about the opt, I'll be able to find that third land anyway. Maybe that's the better threat. Um, I don't know. What do you think? I'm still feeling like Storm Chaser's talent's the right play here, but
Well, I guess
maybe that's too slow.
the way I would put it is like think through a bunch of turns in a row. Like the problem here is two of the cards you have in your hand are hard to get value out of. Like the Tide, whatever
Hmm.
it's called, the Merfolk, the worst creature type in Magic. I shouldn't have said that. Now I'm gonna get cursed. But like, there's just no good. There's no like, there's just all bad news. But yeah, you have this Tidebinder, and it's not like it's a 3-drop, but it's kind of unclear when you can cast it and feel good about casting it. So it's kind of like a black hole in your hand, I guess. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? And then you also have the
Right.
Spell Pierce. Like Spell Pierce is, you know, nice card or whatever, but it's like you have two cards that are unclear when you can cast them and feel good about casting them. So, and the
Yeah.
only other card, your third card is Opt, which basically just cycles. So basically, your
So I
hand
basically have a
doesn't
zero
have a
card
lot going
hand.
on. And if you think about what happens,
Yeah.
like when you play the talent, yeah, again, it's kind of like it's a nice sugar rush. It's kind of like eating a lot of donuts at once, getting this talent, and the stock up's like, go, going, eating some carrots or whatever, because it's kind of boring, but it might work out better. Okay, these analogies are kind of falling apart, but what I mean is like, if you think about what the next turn's gonna be, like you're gonna go up talent, and like your opponent's gonna be like, wow, that looks pretty good. But then what's the follow up gonna be? You're gonna have two talents with prowess. Well, what are you gonna do? Your hand, like first, like, okay, because there's like so many things
Yeah.
that are like weird theory things. Like one thing is I almost want to say is like missing land drops equals bad, and but also not casting spells equals bad. And like kind of the problem here is that like you're missing land drops and you're missing spells to cast, and like stock up solves for both those issues kind of. Whereas like if you take talent's good because
Right.
it's like really cheap, but like you can't capitalize it on that well because you're gonna play talent, but like you're gonna be looking for lands. You want to hit your lands because you're not gonna run out of like you can just level talent. Like you're not gonna run out of stuff to do, right? Like you have Quantum Riddler in your deck. You don't want to miss your land drops, but you also want to be finding spells. And like if you go like turn 4 level talent, get back up, it's not that efficient of a turn, obviously. I mean, I think a good analogy leveling talent is good to think of it like kind of like a utility land. Like it's kind of like like when you sometimes you activate it and it's like, wow, this is really good, but it's obviously inefficient compared to doing anything else. So I don't know. I kind of think of it like a creature land a
Yeah.
little bit. Like I don't want to have to act like I'll activate it if it's a good play, or maybe grabbing a companion. But you know what I mean? Like you don't want to be like, oh, leveling talent, this is a really good play. It's more like it's a good option to have, but obviously it's not that efficient, right? So I guess I'm kind of like,
Right.
what I'm thinking is like, if we grab talent, I'm going to be looking for lands and spells, and like, I don't know if that's like self-explanatory enough, but it's like, oh, maybe if I take stock up, then I can look for the land, then I cast the stock up, and the stock up's just going to bridge
Yeah.
me to, again, like, I'm not trying to win like a prowess beatdown game because our hand doesn't facilitate it that well. Like, if these are Swiss Spears, we just don't have ways to trigger prowess. I'm kind of looking for Quantum Riddler, or like I'm looking for Splash Portal to use on my Thunder Trap Trainer. So it's like I want to stock up to
Yeah.
find Riddler. I want to stock up to find all these things, and it's like I'm not going to do anything good with my mana otherwise, because like I'm just thinking about the turns. Like obviously you're going to draw a couple mystery cards, but like you have two cards that you can't use. So anyway, I don't know if that's like self-explanatory, but it's kind of like, what are we looking for? We
Yeah.
want lands and we want spells, and like I'm not like trying to do like we can't use the prowess creatures that well, and like there's certain cards in our deck that are so good to draw. Like Splash Portal is so good right now. Quantum Riddler would be nice, whatever. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And like again, just trying to hit my land, stock up's good with that. And I'd even rather level talent and get back stock up than get up back. And again, it's like thinking like, how much do we really capitalize on Otter? Like if Storm Chaser's talent's nice, but we're just like not that well suited to like take advantage. And we already saw that they have the 4 mana sweeper too, so they might have some sweepers. But anyway, even beyond the sweepers, it's more like being scared that it's too low impact because like we have prowess creatures and not enough to trigger it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sold. No, yeah, makes perfect sense. And as I think through it more, it's like, yeah, I mean, like Storm Chaser's talent. Next turn, I deploy a prowess creature. I'm probably gonna have to use the opt, right? Like, I don't have, yeah, I don't have a lot of ways to
Yeah.
trigger
I don't know if you know
prowess
that
right
meme
now.
where it's like Homer Simpson and he has like paper clips or something behind his back so that he looks like he's well fit. That's kind of what I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
taking
yeah,
talent.
I've seen it.
That's kind of like taking talent. It's like so that's the vibe I get.
That's funny.
It's like you're like
So yeah,
yeah. Okay, there is splash portal, so that's kind of nice, but obviously it's kind of awkward. Oh, you actually don't take it. So that's kind of interesting there. I mean, I guess it goes back to what I was saying before.
yeah. So wait, what did I take here?
So you saw splash portal, but you chose to bottom it. So I mean, I assume you're like, oh, I really need to look for a land. Obviously, here you can see the awkwardness of like you're really looking for lands. Um, obviously,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I imagine your logic. You were just like, oh, I want to hit a land, and I don't want to like. It's too easy for them to just use a removal on my trainer. So maybe it is worth bottoming
right.
it
Yeah,
just to look for a land, but it's also kind of like you could almost consider it is really good with the prowess stuff because you could go like play a second talent, and then like you miss a land, but next turn you splash portal your trainer, you have spell pierce up, you get a bunch of prowess triggers, you get a bunch of whatever. I mean, it's kind of like for you, is it a close choice? Because like it is kind of funny because like the splash portal's so good, but obviously missing a land's kind of awkward.
yeah. I was afraid of like, okay, take the splash portal. And I mean, I guess I should have thought through it a bit more, right? Like I'd probably just play talent this turn, right? And then splash portal next turn. But I was thinking like I want to make my land drop, so I can turn on like the other half of my hand. And yeah, it was like a snap bottom or whatever,
Yeah,
in the moment. But
it's just kind of
yeah,
awkward because you're kind of all like you want your lands, but the problem is when you hit your lands, you don't have any good spell accounts. Like this barrage was just another tough hit because like it's pretty hard to get value out of for it's not really like gonna
yeah,
so you're yeah. But anyway, it's like it's kind of a tough spot no matter what. But it is kind of funny how splash portal is like almost kind of good. Like it's definitely worth considering, but it's not crazy to bottom it. But like
yeah.
I could see
And
people get
so I
just
end up,
yeah. But that was just like
yeah,
a draw.
and then I get a boomerang basics, and so I decide like I think play the talent if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I guess it's kind of close. You're just like, do I want to try to
maybe
draw land?
actually, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I was looking for a land still. Yeah, I was still in that mode,
yeah.
and I don't think I found it. I don't remember. Um, let's see.
Maybe they counter it. Yeah, negate makes
They
sense.
negate it. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah,
And then I forgot to attack
yeah. I
with the
assume you
trainer
misclicked,
here.
or you thought it was summoning stick.
Yeah, yeah. I got turned around.
Yeah, they summoned Fenrir. Now they're just clowning on you. I couldn't take it. I could. That's why I put online. I
I
couldn't take it. Okay. So
draw the, the the worst type of land. I think
yeah.
I kept that. So I don't know. Maybe we should talk about that for a minute. Like, I don't think that was it. I mean, was it? I don't know why I kept that.
Maybe you're thinking I'm gonna have double otters down and I just want to clear the blockers out of the way. Might have been what you were thinking. Obviously, it's kind of tough because they're just
Yeah,
in a bad spot here. Like they're just using the mana efficient. Like if you look at like the mana efficiency and what happened, like well, obviously you played a lot of spells, but a lot of your spells were just dancing around. You know what I mean? Thunder Trap didn't really do that much. Um,
yeah,
and the summon Fenrir is just like you can't really punish it. Like it's kind of this 3 mana 2-for-1 card, and it's just you can't like it's just kind of awkward, right? Because they're just setting themselves up well, and you're missing lands. Obviously, I guess that's the big thing. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It seems rough. It's like maybe you keep it because you're like, oh, I just want more removal, but it's like it can't even deal that much damage anyway. Um, and
right.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
like
Maybe it's worth bottoming. I mean, it's kind of like a depression mode. It's just like it's all so bad. So, like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah. So
yeah,
I think I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna deploy another talent, and I want
yeah.
a removal spell. Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe I offered this trade. I'm not sure. I think I did.
It seems reasonable
Not sure if that was
regardless.
correct. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it could be okay because like their summon Fenrir can like like if they put a counter on their dragon, then their dragon's like a 5/6.
Right. Yeah. And of course, they're not going to take that trade, right? They're going to play
Yeah,
their
and I think it draws a card
their
when it
big
summons. That's usually
creature.
how it works. Yeah, like Overlord is just over. It's just oh my god, you have this horrible Merfolk
Yeah.
hand. It's like supposed to do anything here.
Yeah.
Now they have 6 mana and like you have a Sonic Roaring Sana. It's just horrible. It's just man.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
more sold
like
on the Lessons deck now because I'm like man, like this stuff's too fair. Yeah. I mean,
um I think I attacked
yeah. I mean, I
and
guess
then offered a
you could attack. I mean, there's a lot of like down bad options here. Like you could leave back a Thunder Trap so that like if they attack as the Overlord, you can try and block it and broadside it. Maybe you could try and like Tidebinder it if it attacks.
yeah.
So it looks like they go for the block, and yeah, you go for the broadside, and maybe you can discard the Spell Pierce
And
or something because I don't know. It's
yeah, I think that's what I discard is the spell pierce here.
yeah. Is this turn 5 already? It's kind of blurry for me, but it's looking pretty bad for turn 5. So
Yeah, I mean it's basically it's over at this point. They play a thing, kill my Thundertrap trainer, and oh they killed does this thing kill oh it's
just
each creature,
damage.
yeah, they
Yeah.
just wiped my board. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like playing with the cat food at this point. Also,
Yeah.
okay, as for oranges,
And then
yeah, it's over. Like we can keep the morale high and go to the next game if you want, because I don't know if you can win.
yeah,
This.
so yeah, I mean it just I mean they play another
Yeah, as
they
for
play
oranges,
two of
like, they
them.
just have 7 mana in play, and they have all these like mana sinks, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I kept going. I mean it was just
I mean, it looks like it went on for a
you
while.
know
Like it's kind of close, but in reality, there's just kind of
yeah.
it's like pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me pull up the next one. I guess I can pull up the Golgari one. So this one's pretty embarrassing because in game two, um, I think I had to work, and so I was like working and not as attentive in game two. But I think it was still pretty. It's an interesting one. So let me
Just give me 1 second. I'll be gone for like 30 seconds. I need to grab something.
Okay, no worries.
All right, I'm back.
Go. All right, so this one, this felt like a keep. There's no turn one play, but maybe I could do something with a torch. And yeah, you know, um, just following your heuristic, like would I keep this on 6? Felt like an easy yes.
Yeah, it seems like the hand. I mean, seems great to me. Like the thing I almost want to say is like, you know, I want to like purge the part of you that makes you want to think about mulliganing this because it's like you have 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop like every turn. Like you have your
Yeah.
main drops, you have plays, you have everything. You know what I mean? It's like you got a good Christmas present, and you're like, yeah, it's fine, but you don't have the Bluetooth or whatever. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's like, so I don't know, yeah,
Yeah.
but it seems like a snap keep, like you got everything that you want. I mean, it does show the power of versatility a bit because you might be like thinking, oh, like what if Get Out's not that good in matchup, or like what if whatever card's not that good in the matchup, and like that's a nice thing when your deck's more proactive. You don't have to worry about that, or that might be a downstream of like some cards are more questionable or whatever. But anyway, we can see how this
Yeah.
goes. Yeah, you're against. Okay, so we'll see. So yeah.
So keep. They play
Blooming Marsh.
Blooming Marsh.
Yeah, you're thinking, man, maybe I'll be able to win with Skullgari. Well, no, you don't. You probably think it's Reanimator. So we'll just see one turn at a time. You might be
I
thinking, oh
think, yeah,
man,
I
my
think
hand just.
initially that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're like, oh, nice interactive game we're gonna have. My hand, most of my cards don't do anything. Hope my one get out works.
They play an Overlord,
Yeah,
and then this is where it becomes
yeah.
pretty clear. They're Golgari, bunch of
Oh, this is like
Dredger's
Golgari South
Insights.
Mill.
Yeah, I've never seen this before.
This is like
That
Insidious
combo they
Roots.
played on me was. Oh, is that what this? Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. The guy was like making jokes about Yawgmoth or something. At some
Oh yeah, I
point.
was gonna say because I was like normal Golgari is gonna be chill, but oh, Insidious Roots. Okay, so they got back something. I guess it says in the log.
Yeah, they got back
Badgermole Cub. Sure.
Badgermole Club. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess here's your first option. You can pass with your mana up or play something. Um,
Yeah. I don't remember what I did here. I think I probably passed with the mana up, I want to say, but I'm not 100% sure. All right. No, I actually, yeah, I think I passed with Get Out up is what I did. I mean, I guess technically with just my mana up, but with the intention of just countering the Cub. Um, I don't know. I mean, like, I already have a Boomerang basics. I can bounce the Thunder Trap Trainer with that, get some value. Just figured like feels like a pretty reactive hand, so I decided to play the control role. Um, the only other option, I guess, is play Thunder Trap Trainer
yeah,
or play Multiversal Passage tapped with Torch up. Um, felt like passing with a counter spell and a burn spell. Like it's very likely they're going to play something, right? Like I don't think they're going to pass with Badgermole Cub in their hand and do nothing for a turn.
yeah. I mean, I feel like let's say somehow you're convinced that you're not gonna cast Get Out this turn, then it's
Yeah.
probably then you should probably just like cast the trainer because you can just use the shock next turn. Because if you play tap lane, you're just wasting a mana. Like you don't need to cast shock on this turn, right?
Mm.
It's not like they're gonna play. It's not like they're gonna play Glistener Elf with haste and deal 20 damage to you, right? Like if you think about how the game develops, if you play Thunder Trap Trainer now, then you get out of the way. Like you eat your vegetables, whereas
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's a really
Yeah.
bad play to go like tap land with a red mana up because you're just like burning a resource because like you're gonna have to cast a Thunder Trap Trainer at some point. Might as well try and cast it now or whatever. The thing I would say about the Get Out, I mean, this is
Yeah.
more like format specific knowledge, I guess, but like, yeah, if they have, well, so there's two things going on. Like number one, I would say like if they have like Insidious Roots, well, first of all, if they had it, they would have cast it there. Probably, unless they're playing on Spell Pierce. I mean, you had a mana up, so maybe they're playing around Spell Pierce.
Mm.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is like you don't really want to get out most of their card. Like you don't really want to get out a Badgermole Club because your Torture Towers and Burst Lightnings like already deal with it pretty cleanly. Like they get a 1/1, but that's not really that big of a deal. But like you do kind of want to use Get Out.
Yeah.
Like if they cast Insidious Roots, then you really want to Get Out it because like it's going to be pretty hard to win the game if it resolves. So I guess what I'm saying is like I almost, on the one hand, I almost want to cast the Thunder Trap Trainer because I feel like they're probably going to play Badgermole Cub and you're probably going to shock it, but you almost don't want to Get Out. Like you almost want to hold the Get Out for later for like if they draw Insidious Roots later because like a play that they might be pretty likely to make next turn is that they go Badgermole Cub, then like use 2 mana and cast another cantrip like a Dredger's Insight or whatever. I don't know if it finds like enchantments, but like maybe a cash grab or something like that to dig for Insidious Roots, and then maybe you can go on turn 3, pass with the man up. I guess if you see what I'm saying. So I guess like I could almost
Yeah.
like I guess I'm almost thinking like I feel like it is kind of important. Like it is kind of nice if you can line up Get on the roots. But like as you said, you didn't know if it was a roots deck or maybe like had experience against it, and it's kind of like a weird deck. It's almost like a dredge deck kind of, and like Insidious Roots is their dredge payoff or whatever. But anyway, that's kind of how I'd be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, I would feel kind of bad to have to Get out a Cub when I really want to use it on the roots, but obviously it's hard to like hold up a counter spell for a 2-mana enchantment and whatever. And like again, like I don't want to just like the downside of spending the whole turn shocking the Cub is then the other mana is wasted, and like maybe you can just like play the trainer and then next turn you can go like boomerang basics the trainer, shock the cub or whatever, shock the cub, pass with get out up, whatever, and just get the trainer out of
Yeah,
out of the
that
way.
makes that yeah, I'm pretty sold there. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, in the moment, I was thinking this turn probably get out the cub, and yeah, I don't even think the insidious roots like the enchantment didn't even cross my mind. Like I didn't even know about it. In fact, I'm not even sure if they actually really played it in this match. But yeah, format knowledge, I was thinking get out and then next turn, Thunder Trap Trainer hold up Torch, but I think your line makes way more sense. Like I'd rather, yeah, I like the analogy of like eat your veggies. Get the Thunder Trap Trainer out, and if anything, the get out probably can trade up from that point on. Like they probably have bigger creatures and stuff like that. If I wanted to hold that up, or like who knows what I draw off the Thunder Trap Trainer. So that does make a lot of sense. I guess I'm like one for oneing on mana with the Cub, even though I already have other answers for it. Yeah, makes sense. I'm pretty sold. So yeah, but that's not what I do. I end up pretty sure I just hold it up
Yeah.
because I get so tunnel vision on the Cub.
Yeah, the propaganda of people saying the card is really good. Okay, wow,
Yeah.
they play a tap. Is that a damp? Oh, the deserts. I forget if there's like synergy with the deserts, but anyways,
What? Why do they play? Oh, is that? Oh, it's because they recur it and keep dealing damage or something.
I don't know. I forget if there's like a reason for it or like
'Cause I've seen that on Arena too. Like at first I thought like, oh, they didn't have wild cards or something, but
yeah, maybe there's some
um,
synergy. I don't know off the top of my head what it is though. Yeah. But anyway, let's see what happens. Maybe yeah, I'm about to
so
play.
here,
Okay, splash portal.
so I draw a
Uh,
Splash Portal, play the Thunder Trap Trainer, and I think this looked like a pretty easy stock up.
yeah, it seems reasonable. It's kind of weird because like you're gonna splash portal again, so you're like on the one hand it's nice to have interaction, but it's hard to use it. But and
Yeah,
as you said, you didn't know that they were like some weird roots combo, some weird like creature combo deck. But yeah, so it
I
seems
think
fine.
yeah, I
Oh,
thought about playing the
did you splash
Splash
portal
Portal
here? Like, let's
here.
see what's happening. I mean, if you were playing live, what would
I
you
think
be doing? What are you thinking? Yeah. Okay.
I think you play it right. Yeah.
Good. Good.
And then yeah, I mean, so a talent or a basics or the the Roaring Furnace. And I had a Boomerang basics in my hand, so I think I went for the talent here.
That seems reasonable. It's kind of tough because everything's kind of discombobulated in some ways. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. But yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you already have burn spells, and maybe you're kind of just looking for pressure. Like yeah, so seems fine. Not much
Yeah.
to add. Then let's see. They go four drop it.
Play
Oh,
this
that
guy.
card. Oh, that's the combo you're talking about with Bloodghast. So maybe they're not a root stack. Maybe their combo is that guy. Yeah, I would have taken
Yeah.
Sana for sure. Let's see.
Yeah, so I remember regretting not taking Sada at this point.
I mean, the good thing is that thing has like a dice trigger, so like at least if you torch it, you can get value in that way. Like if you were
I
like,
think I 2-for-1 myself here if I remember correctly.
yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, you have a lot of options here, so I don't know. This is weird because it's like it's kind of like really hard to talk about the pros and cons of this turn, but also like I feel like this deck's kind of cursed, so I don't. It's weird to go too deep on it. But this
So
is
here
kind of a hard turn to talk about, and like you kind of have to talk about like the big picture plans of the deck and like what matters and all these things. But anyway, I guess like yeah, it's just
yeah.
because you're like, well, if they block, then I can bargain, and that's good for me. So,
Yeah, exactly.
seems fine. I mean, because you kind of have the option. You're like, oh, I could play talent, boomerang basics by talent, and then I could like torch plus burst. You could even try and wait a turn and just kick it, but then I get the earth
Yeah.
end. So yeah, and you're like,
So they didn't take the bait, so yeah, I go for the 2-for-1 here. And then I play the talent, and I think I basics it this turn, or do I think I wait actually. So I don't know if that's
Well,
correct. I wanted
would
to.
you consider waiting? Like, if you were playing now, would you like?
I don't think so. I think use the mana, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm not sure what I get by like it's a single prowess trigger. Like I don't know why that mattered in the moment for me.
yeah.
For like I lost a mana this turn for 1 point of damage next turn. Ridiculous. The more I think about
Yeah,
it,
you gotta
like
get into
yeah,
the you have to just get into the mindset where like not spending mana is pain. It's like, you know what I mean, walking around with foe or
yeah,
whatever. Because like you have stock up, like it feels like your what do you call it? Like your bottleneck here is spending mana because like you have stock up, you're gonna have such an abundance of resources. And like this
yeah.
boomerang basically is a 2-for-1 too. Anyway, I mean
Yeah.
technically
Oh,
you
okay.
could
Well,
have
I
yeah
guess I did end up doing it.
yeah.
I
I mean
did the
if
right thing. Yeah. I don't know. I was not going to. I remember very heavily not wanting to do it.
I mean it might be a habits thing more
Yeah.
than a strategy thing, but like technically if you could have just gone. I mean, technically, like you could have just gone like start the turn by play talent, then boomerang basics, then double burn it. Because like, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do the thing that
Mm.
cantrips afterwards anyway, if your opponent's tapped out, you might as well just do it before. Obviously, you know in your deck, there's probably nothing that changes it. You know, maybe Sauna, maybe not, but it's just kind of like a heuristic, like get in the habit thing. Like if your opponent's tapped out, might as well do the plays that cantrip first.
Yeah. You're actually. I mean, you're completely right because I mean, there even could have been a card that I think would have saved me from having to do the 2-for-1 like obliterating bolt.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you draw
Um.
obliterating bolt, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So I mean, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous now that I'm. That we're talking
yeah.
through it.
So let's see another one of the 4 drops. Oh, lively
So
dirge.
yeah, Lively Dirge. I think yeah they get Badgermole
Animate
Cub,
some
Gene
goons.
Pollinator. Um,
Oh, maybe okay. Yeah,
I
so you draw
top deck a
removal
Torch.
skillfully. Yeah.
Yeah. So this I think I
Yeah,
led
just
with
stock up.
stock up.
Yeah, it makes sense because like I mean,
Yeah.
whatever you're always gonna cast stock up this turn. Might as well cast it first, right? Like no reason not to.
Right. Yeah.
And then yeah, see as they wait to let it resolve and like oh yeah, this is a nice hit. So I don't know. I guess your
Yes.
options are like, do you take a torch? Do you take both splash portals because they're like divinations? Um, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what I took, but as I'm looking through this, I mean, it feels like it's probably a torch and a splash portal. Um, I have a Storm Chaser's talent in hand. I don't really know what I get. I mean, I guess another one isn't.
I mean,
I mean,
would
they got
you?
3 cards in hand.
Why does it feel like? Did you consider taking double splash portal, or like did you? Were you like, oh, they're a creature combo deck. You know, I wanna, find
Yeah, you
like.
know what?
Did you consider double
I didn't
splash
even
portal?
consider that. Yeah,
Yeah,
like there's a pretty significant amount of removal in this deck. So like double splash portal, just having the option to dig. I mean that makes a lot of sense
well, because like the thing
because we're
I would
talking
say
through it.
the key thing about this turn is like, so on the one hand you're like getting a lot of card advantage, so you're like, oh, I want the removal because I want to make sure I don't get run over when I'm casting all my card advantage. But the other thing is if you look at the reality of the hand, you have a lot of card advantage, but some of it's getting kind of junky, or not junky, but I mean like next turn you could have
Yeah,
an awkward turn because you have so many lands. Like you have five, like is it 7 lands? Like you play a land, you're gonna have 2 more lands left. So like basically like next
yeah,
turn you could run out of things to do. So like let's say you take Splash Portal plus Torch, and this turn you go Splash Portal, your Thunder Trap Trainer, Torch the thing. I guess what I'm just saying is like I could see taking the double Splash Portal just because like you have so many lands and your curve is so low, and like it's hard for them to punish it that much because like what are they gonna do? Like kill your Thunder Trap Trainer? Probably not. And like so I don't know. Like this,
yeah,
I could see taking double Splash Portal, and the whole reason is like we might, and it's like I guess the fear like you can just the easiest way is like there's 2 fears. The fear of like I'm gonna run out of stuff to do with my mana, and that's again that goes back to like if you internalize that like not spending your mana equals pain, then that's when you start thinking about the double splash
yeah,
portal. Because then you're like, if you always think like it's pain not to spend mana, then you're like oh maybe I want to take a second splash portal to guarantee that. But the other side of the spectrum is like oh what if I have too much card advantage and I get ran over and I can't interact with what they're doing? Then I want Torture Tower, right? So that's kind of the two spectrums or whatever going on. But like I might be
yeah,
a bit more
yeah,
afraid of the like I run out of things to do and like Splash Portal is just so strong because as you were saying, you have so much removal, and it's like you have the Thunder Trap, you have it all set up. So yeah,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think where my head was at was I don't have an answer to Overlord, and no one card will answer it. Um,
well,
so the wait, what's that?
Sana, if you find Sana,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and I have a ton of cards in my hand. Yeah, I think I was thinking about like, oh, if I no, yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, you're right. Like the splash portal, double splash portal, probably. I mean, it's absolutely the play here. Yeah, I got tunnel vision on Torch and like needing another piece of interaction to get rid of this Overlord. So or at least that's where my head initially went. I'm not sure what I actually chose, but yeah, I like your line around double splash portal, just kind of keeping myself with options because yeah, when I look at my hand, it's like, I got two pretty weak plays here. So yeah, I end up going for Torch and Splash Portal.
yeah.
I think I kill the Cub here and probably run out the Storm Chaser's talent.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. Their Gene Polyneuth's not the best mana dork, and it's getting they kind of have a lot of mana
Yeah,
anyway, so you're like, yeah, I'll just try and save Torch for like a more combo-y card or whatever. Like you were saying, you're scared of their Overlord. So yeah,
yeah.
so you tank for 3. And yeah, here you can see the fantastic value the Mole got. It made that thing a 1/1. So it's hard to keep up with that value, I guess. So let's see another 4 drop, another live leader. Oh, Nature's Rhythm.
Nature's Rhythm on 2. They
Oh
they
yeah.
really want their Badger Mole. Like they just
Yeah, they have 4 mana dorks in play now, so they get a. They
yeah.
have the
So I'm
Nature's
like,
Rhythm in the
all
grave
right,
too. Oh, that was a smart draw. Um,
yeah. So yeah, I mean, this feels pretty good. Riddler, Splash Portal, Torch the tower. I mean, is there a path here to? I could play land, Torch, play Riddler. I guess yeah. No matter what, I'm not gonna.
I mean, the only
Um,
the only tension you have here is that like they have this Overlord that can attack next turn, and like it would be nice to remove it, but you probably have to kill the Cub because they have this Naturism in the graveyard. So like this Cub's making like 4 mana if it
yeah,
untaps, so it's probably worth removing the Cub. And then you have the option of like, oh, should I like hardcast the Riddler? Should I warp should I warp the Riddler and splash portal it? Because yeah, you can go like. I mean, that's kind of the main option, right? It's like, do I cast the Riddler or do I like warp the Riddler and like splash portal it? Because like, and it's like the
right,
upside of
yeah,
like warping it is that like maybe if you find more spells to cast, then you can keep casting spells. But like, if you cast it, you can maybe get more value by like trying to splash portal the Thunder Trap next turn or whatever. So I don't know, seems kind of close. And obviously, it's gonna
yeah.
feel silly if you warp splash portal and then you don't draw anything. But also, there's big upsides if you can get to 0 cards in hand. I guess, which is pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I didn't even consider. I don't think I considered like just properly like hard casting Riddler, save the Splash Portal. I think in this moment, I figured like I'm probably like I think I wanted to see if I could find an answer to Overlord, and if I don't, I wanted to put myself in a position to race. I think that's where my head was at, and at the moment it felt reasonable because they only had 2 cards left in hand, and all their creatures were pretty weak other than the Overlord. So I think I was looking for more spells to cast this turn. That's where my head was at. Is we'll get rid of the Cub and like hopefully we could draw more spells and just like make the otter tokens bigger and just keep slamming, and then we'll have the Riddler next turn to start swinging in.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. I mean, there is one funny thing because it cuts both. Like, I guess I keep bringing up. Like, I feel like the getting to 1 or less cards to get the draw 2 mode. Because like on the one hand, if you warp, you give yourself the out to try and achieve it this turn, where like you splash portal your Riddler and
Hmm.
have 1 card in hand and maybe you draw an extra. But on the other hand, if you hardcast the Riddler, you might give yourself the out to like splash portal your Riddler next turn when you have like 1 card in hand, then like draw more cards maybe. But anyway, that's just one thing. I guess I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
keeping in mind the one or less card thing is definitely like pretty real with Riddler because like if you can achieve that, it's just like it's like you're drawing an extra card for free, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't prioritize it enough, and yeah, I need to keep it more top of mind with Riddler.
What's going on here?
Oh
What's
wait, what
this
did I do
now?
here?
Oh, you're probably like, I
The
really
f-
need to find a removal for their stuff, so you just need to dig
Oh,
for
okay,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah. So I guess
Or
I didn't do anything we just discussed even
or
remotely.
also maybe you're like, oh, if I do this, I can try and get more prowess triggers to make my otters better, which is like kind of reasonable. I didn't think. I mean, they're at 15 life. You can get some big attacks in or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense because I was like in
Yeah.
race mode.
Yeah, imagine
Um,
playing this deck with Monstrous Rage and like Corey Steel Cutter and VV. That was a good summer.
yeah.
Like, it would be so easy to lethal them if you had like Monstrous Rage in your deck here. But anyway, so yeah, you opt, and yeah, you're like, yeah, I don't want to get my Riddler down. I just want to get stuff. I mean, yeah, so here, I mean, I guess you can just like
Yeah.
Riddler, and then you're. It's kind of awkward because like the problem is if you don't kill the cub, they just gotta like have 4 mana, which is its own form of card advantage. And also you
Yeah,
can
I figured I have to kill the cub here because of
also
the
they can
natures of it. Yeah, I
reanimate
like
cub
hovered
too,
over the
right?
natures
Because
of
they
them.
just the other problem I guess is they attack with Balemark, get back a cub, and then they're just gonna play it again. So they're just gonna
I
make
think
all the mana again.
well the torture it exiles it, right? I think I
Oh,
was
don't they have that in the
like, let's
oh, they
skip
don't
this.
have any in the graveyard, or do they?
Yeah, because we hit the other one with torch,
Okay, good. It's
if I
Dredge's
remember
Insight.
correctly.
I just saw
Yeah.
graveyard. Okay, so that's good. So this makes sense then.
Yeah, yeah. It's two dredgers insight and the lively
Yeah.
dirge and nature's rhythm.
Yeah. So I guess you can just like a swing for 8 maybe, and I mean you can maybe consider like killing the elf so they can't block. Like it's technically a consideration, because
Yeah.
like if they attack with Balemark, then at least I don't know, like
Yeah, I
they're
mean
not
in
blocking.
retrospect that might have not been too
Yeah,
bad,
I'm not
right?
sure, but
Because
yeah.
yeah. I mean they didn't block. I figured for sure they'll block, but yeah, I mean I guess I could have gotten them down to 5
Well, it
here.
would almost be like to prevent them blocking. Of like it guarantees you got to use the torch because you already have like the Storm Chaser's Talon as a mana sink. You kind of want to get to like 0 cards anyway in hand.
Right. That's a good point.
And it's like, is the torch gonna get better than taking out this elf to like deal the extra damage with the prowess and whatever? Okay, so they go for
Yeah, yeah,
Nature's
absolutely.
Rhythm. Yeah, they're setting up. Yeah, so I guess yeah they might not be a Roots deck, which is good news for you if you're trying to win this game because Roots is like a pretty good card. If they're just some Bloodcast
Yeah.
Mimi combo, then that seems more easy to beat. Because yeah, I don't know if you know what the card Insidious Roots does, but it's like 2 mana, and then it's like hard to win. I guess I don't know if you've read.
I don't think I've ever played against it. I'm pretty sure I saw someone on stream with it or something, but yeah, not very familiar with it. So
Yeah,
here they have a Llanowar elves, and they took an Umbral Caller Zealot
yeah, the
from
Sax thing.
the yeah. So they play that guy out.
Limited All Star. Yeah, not really. Limited bait card. That like you're technically supposed to be good, but it's still just a 2 mana 3/2.
Yeah, I didn't have much luck with that card in
In
Edge of
draft.
Eternity's limited.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Yeah,
card that like I would take, and I'm like, I know this card's supposed to be really good, but it's still just a 2 mana 3/2, and like my opponents are casting so many bombs,
yeah,
it's hard to beat. I actually, yeah, I did,
yeah.
I did. This, I don't know. I did have it in one of my PT decks, and I did side it out one round because I played against a black white deck where my opponents just had like a million 2 mana 2/2s. So I just sided it out. So, vanilla, which I guess is like that's pretty intellectual moves, I guess. Okay, so they're just doing this and they're passing.
So we got the third cub, um, and I think I wanted to lead with Thundertrap Trainer, and I mean here I was like, oh man, they got like all these blockers.
Yeah,
So
this
the
is
race
kind of
plan feels kind of bad right now.
yeah. I don't know if I have too many bad analogies, but this feels like you're a rich kid or like you won the lottery and you have all this money, but you don't even enjoy it because it was just given to you. That's what it feels like. Yeah, you have so much card draw, but like, what's the point even? So I don't know. This is the vibe I'm getting from from the hand. But anyway, it's like we have to figure it out, or it's like we have so much riches, but it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
So
so much card draw.
I
Yeah,
I
yeah,
this is like so I can't hit the cub with the torch because they'll sacrifice it to the Umbral Collar, and then they'll get it back with a Bailmerk. So I think I was thinking like I have to hit the Umbral Collar, but I led with the Thundertrap Trainer first
to try like find
just to
Brimstone, I
see.
guess. I mean, yeah, you could also like kind of
Yeah,
level the talent, but maybe that's bad because then it's mana inefficient. Okay, you find Sauna, that's pretty good, I guess.
yeah.
You give
So
Sauna the Umbral, say, and then torch the
and
Cub,
then
I guess.
towards a cub. Yeah,
Yeah, and you're pretty
and then
close
that
to
brings them down
Uzil.
to
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you can. Can you force them to
So
jump? I guess you can't. You should be able to.
I think we could force a jump here. I think we can attack
Yeah,
for 7 if I remember correctly.
yeah. So you can Sauna, kill the kill the Zealot, I guess. See if they start sacking lands to Scry. That would be funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
because
dice
they get it
there,
back, right? Like it has
unfortunately.
the beam bend or whatever that mechanic's
Oh,
called.
that's right. Yeah, yeah,
And here you can, yeah, you can get to the one card in hand, so that's nice.
yeah.
Finally,
I think
after talking about it for
yeah.
years, it happens. Yeah, so you attack, and I guess if you
Force a
have to
chump.
jump, I can't see if there's 3 or 4. It's too blurry.
So yeah, these are three threes and a 1/2,
Yeah,
so
so they
it's
don't need to
lethal if
jump,
they
but they're
don't
dead if they
block.
have a spell. So yeah, they block, and then uh, yeah, you can warp Riddler, and then it's good.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens this turn, I guess. Looks like next turn
I
they're gonna
think
yeah.
yeah, I think this is the turn where so they just play a zealot and then they play they're tapping for 4. Nature's Rhythm on 5.
Oh, that's a combo
Um,
sort of. Are they gonna wait? Is it? Are you dead? Is this an infinite combo right now?
yeah, this is where the
You're
so
dead. Yeah, because they
yeah,
get
I'm
the
dead.
desert land, and then they can wait.
Yep.
Oh, they have the okay,
Yeah,
so you're
the
dead.
blood gas. Yeah, so it's just like, yep, that was it.
And
It
they
took me
play.
a minute to realize, like, oh, this is infinite. Like, I didn't really know what was going on for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just keep recurring, the blood gas and the earthbend land, and yeah, that was pretty much it. So,
Yeah.
went to sideboard. This next game, I mean, it's really bad because,
Do you want to skip it or
well,
do
I
you want
guess
to
let's
look at it?
talk about. We can look at it. It's I got really distracted. I mean I was like I had 5 minutes left on the timer at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to start working, but I mean yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not that helpful to go through it now that I think about it, since I'm like I wasn't really making real decisions. Um, but yeah, I mean the only other replays I got are the Demir deck. Um, if you wanted to go through those. It's I don't know if is that even a real deck like Demir Control, like it's doing like Singularity Rupture, the Monument, or
Is that
whatever that card is. The
what's the River Churn Monument?
yeah, that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like just
Did they have like
decks
Jace
you
and did
and
they have Desecrate? Did they have like a black all black lands for the demon?
I didn't see it. I didn't see a demon get deployed at any point.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that's a grief combo, I guess. The board like that's like yeah, that would be tilting to lose against the constructed. Uh, Not to say the wrong things or whatever, but Singularity Rupture into River Churn would be a funny way to go out, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly how I died in game one. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'll pull it up. I guess like just generally like how to play against control could be interesting to talk about. Let me
Yeah,
share this.
yeah. There was a while where Blue Black Control almost was popular for like a week. Okay, so because it was playing the combo of the all
That's
black demon.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
crazy.
yeah, so
All
here we
right,
go.
so
Yeah,
opening hand, I think I'm on the draw. Um, so an opponent mulligan to 6 cards. So I think I chose to keep this.
yeah. This deck really just looks like Riddler and a real pile. So let's see.
The two mountains feel so bad in this deck. Like if you ever draw more than one mountain, it's just like, and there's only 2 mountains in the deck, but I don't know. Like the deck just doesn't need a second red source ever, it seems.
Well, it's probably just for the smoothing of like the same reason like the Lessons deck has two mountains of like you have like 6 or 7 islands, so like just try and maximize having one of each rather than two islands or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess you play tap land. Yeah, kind of a close play. Like you could maybe consider playing a mountain in case they play like Deep Cavern Bat and you want to torch a tower it, but
Yeah, I thought about that too. Yeah, because like I
also
mean
the life
I
gaps
saw
too.
the
Yeah,
yeah I figured I'm playing against like normal Demir, like the Kaito and all that crap, but
yeah. Like because I could see it like if they do play Deep Cavern Bat, I mean it is kind of good to torch it because part of the problem is if you don't torch it, like I guess it is good
it's a
to
good
torch it,
point.
but it's just a trade off of like do I value the life or whatever. But like I could see it being pretty because things could go pretty wrong if you don't torch it because you kind of want to play the Riddler on two, but then if you play the Riddler on two, then
Yeah.
then like they could Kaido you or like they get a Preacher and then like it's super awkward. Whereas if you torch it, you still keep the Obliterating Bolt, so then you get to remove the Preacher anyway. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I guess I was, um, I one didn't want to put mountain down, or I wanted to protect my life total basically in the moment, but yeah, I mean, it would have felt really bad to play an O bolt on a deep cavern bat. Here, I think I just passed,
yeah. Did you consider?
because
Yeah,
I was afraid that they were going to play what's that flash creature, the 2/1.
Flood Pits.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna have to keep up torch to kill it so I don't get Kaito'd on turn 3. That was my thought process.
Yeah. Well, I was getting so hyped for a second that we're playing against Demir mid range, but now I'm remembering it's this guy. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess did you consider playing like the blue land to have get out up at all, or were you know, did you have any thoughts regard on that?
Oh yeah, I guess that could have made sense too, right? Because maybe they don't play um the Flood Pits Drowner and they end up playing Preacher, and that would have at least allowed me to use my mana. Like I could have hedged. I guess on the flip side of that, like I mean, yeah, it's interesting. So blue mana, keep up, get out. I can counter a Flood Pits or a Preacher, or red mana, which only allows me to answer a Flood Pits. I guess that's so maybe get out is better because it allows me to answer both um situations.
Yeah, I mean one also way to think about it, like yeah, like one angle is the flood pits, or like the like if they go for preacher, then like if they don't cast flood pits and then they play preacher, then it would look way better to do get out. But also another line is like, what if they have two flood pits and then it could help you double spell because like let's say you can't like I'm just thinking about double spelling basically because like you have one drop and a bunch of two drops, so it would be pretty nice if you
Yeah.
could next turn if you could play a two drop this turn and then next turn play a two drop and a one drop. And obviously you can be thinking about like trying to line up cards. Like you might be like, oh, get out can counter curiosity, and my other cards can't deal with curiosity, or whatever. But like one thing I could
Hmm.
imagine happening is like they go flood pits, maybe you counter it, and then like maybe let's say they pass again, or they play a spyglass siren, or whatever, then next turn you could potentially go like cycle a Riddler, pass his mana up, and then if they go for a second Flood Pits, then you can double spell, and that could be pretty good for you. Also, like
Yeah.
Get Out's kind of weird because it can hit Curiosity specifically, but it can be pretty hard to use against their deck. So it can be kind of nice to just get the counterspell out of your hand, trade it early, and then have the removal for later. Just because like it can be hard to use Get Out in some situations. But yeah, like
Yeah.
I might have leaned just because I'd be thinking about like maybe I want to double spell, whatever. But those are the kind of the considerations. Yeah. So anyway, this
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. No, really good points. Yeah. Hadn't thought through it.
Yeah.
And this is where I started to realize something was off. Like they just did nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm like, okay, my removal is probably bad in this matchup. Um, and I think I decided to, also like do the draw go thing.
Right.
Um,
I mean, I guess probably like
yeah,
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I mean, you might have been thinking, oh, they're more likely to have Phantom Interference. I can just wait a turn on the Riddler, if they're not doing anything.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about Phantom Interference here, so I figured like, look, they're not playing anything. It's probably a control deck. They're probably playing, Phantom Interference. Maybe it's still Demir and they're, trying to hold up counter magic. So I figured like, yeah, don't play anything here. I can warp the Riddler next turn. And in the meantime, I'll hold up like, Torch and Get Out, I guess.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it makes sense. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, don't know what the Riddler get Phantom. So yeah, they play a fourth land, pass back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's kind of interesting is you have the first option of like, do you go for a Riddler here or do you pass? You know, was it obvious to you? Did you have any thoughts? I mean, I guess yeah. So what like here? What would you
Yeah,
do if you're
I
playing live? Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, what's a worst thing they could do? Like, I don't know, deploy a curiosity out of nowhere, I guess. Like, so if I'm playing live, I still don't know what I'm playing against. Like, um, I'm probably still afraid that it's like a Demir mid-range deck and they just got like a really weird draw. I don't know, people do weird stuff on MTGO, so I'm wondering if I should play a multiversal on blue and warp a Riddler and hold out Get Out in case they deploy like a Curiosity. Um, yeah, that's I mean that feels okay. I think it plays around Phantom Interference. I don't know if that's what I end up doing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in terms of like decipher, like my intuition, I would just feel like they're on blue black mid range because like it's not that weird that they didn't play 1 2 or like their hand could just be like removal spells and curiosities, right? Like they could have like their opening hand could have been like Curiosity, Kaido, Doomblade, Phantom Interference, 3 lands. Like that's a pretty normal hand to keep, and it feels like I don't see blue black control that much, right? So if it was me, I would still be feeling like yeah, they're probably gonna play Curiosity this turn, um, and yeah, you have a few
Yeah,
options. You can like Riddler and warp the Riddler to draw a card. Or, yeah, you could warp the Riddler, or you could just like pass, and I guess it's fine to yeah shock and play the Riddler with blue mana because like if they have like it seems fun. Like there's some things that could go wrong, but there's also like seems like a fine play because if you try and do something else, there's other things that can go wrong. Like you could get punished if there's like a weird combination if they have like Flood Pits plus a Phantom Interference or whatever. But like they didn't play it for a bunch of turns anyway, so it seems fine. Uh, and also it makes it
yeah,
so obvious you have Get Out, but I don't know, maybe that's fine. So
yeah, yeah. It does seem pretty obvious. I don't know if that's what I ended up doing. I mean, let's see. Okay, so it does look like Oh, yeah.
cool.
Okay, I just do nothing.
Yeah, it's like I don't think it's crazy because there are like ways they could punish you for playing Riddler. So like it seems
Yeah,
not and like if they play like they're probably gonna play something and whatever. So it seems like not unreasonable. Anyway, so they go for stock up, and yeah, here's probably where like oh what's that?
all right, now I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not playing against like the mirror mid range when I see this. They don't play stock up in that list, right? I don't think I've
Not
seen that.
really. I haven't like somebody might, but it's not really very popular. So yeah, so I guess here you can go for warping a Riddler.
Yeah, so at this point, I figured like the get out is, probably not useful.
Yeah,
Um,
picking up your
Play that before
Executioner.
playing a land,
Yeah. Let's see.
and
You have
then
7. You have the opposite of 1 card in hand. Okay, well this is kind of interesting here because like you could warp a second Riddler. You could cast a stock up. Did you give consideration to any of that? Like, what were you thinking here? Like, let's say you're playing now. Like, what would you be thinking? Do you want to pass, or are you gonna try and cast this up?
yeah, I think I wanted to pass. I was just still kind of like, what am I playing against? But you know, thinking through it now, like, I mean, I just didn't want to get the stock up Phantom Interference. Like, I have a lot of dead cards in hand. The stock up felt like really valuable. I could see like warping another Riddler or like bouncing, the current Riddler. Like that seems like those seem pretty reasonable in retrospect. Yeah, I think the only play that I was really afraid of, I mean, I don't know, maybe the stock up's really not that bad. Like I could still warp another Riddler and boomerang it next turn. Um, but I also like I I guess like what could they play on their next turn? Very likely they're gonna pass with like 6 mana open or something, right? So yeah, I don't know. Like given that if I play the stock up and it gets countered, and then they have a bunch of mana and they counter my next play, it could feel kind of bad. It could leave me with nothing other than like a warped Riddler that I'd have to deploy. So yeah, as I'm thinking through it, like it feels like it'd probably be best to warp another Riddler or maybe play a Boomerang Basics on this Riddler and like, play around Phantom Interference, um, or whatever counter spells they're playing and just, kind of pass from there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I so the thing I would say about like the Phantom Interference is like sometimes there was like an old saying of like how people would say like like Doomblade, like Tarmogoyf, like this creature dies to Doomblade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was one time there was a guy who said no, the Doomblade dies to the creature. So you could say like if they fan like if you want to make it sound sexier in a way, people usually think like cast like Duress and Thoughtseize is good against control decks because you can get rid of the counterspell. Like if you cast Stock Up, it's almost kind of like you're duressing them to get rid of Phantom, or like I guess what I would say is like think of it in
Right.
your mind is
Yeah.
like Phantom's gonna be probably pretty good against you because you have 2 Quantum Riddlers and you're probably gonna cast the Riddlers and like maybe you can plan to like play a weird game where like your plan is like, no, I'm not gonna play Riddler until I have 7 mana, so they're never gonna get me with Phantom. But like looking at the situation right now, that might be kind of a hard task to accomplish because you only have 5 lands. Um, and I guess like
Yeah.
another thing I'm thinking is like, you know, how likely are you to like run out of stuff to do? Because like obviously, it could be good to conserve value against control. Like, like the thing is like if Stock Up was truly your last spell, but the thing is you have 2 Riddlers, so like you can warp the second Riddler, you can cast the Riddlers from exile, um, and I guess I'm concerned about like the fact that I don't think it's unreasonable to like not cast the Stock Up, but if you don't cast the Stock Up, I might warp the second Riddler maybe, or I don't like. I guess what I'm saying is that like
Yeah.
the thing is like if it's like your own like using your cards can be defensive in a way because I guess what I'm saying is like let's say you don't cast Stock Up now, and then your opponent has more time to like cast their threats or whatever, then they can hold the Phantom until later. Or anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I can see like it being reasonable to consider like holding up the Stock Up, but I guess I'm saying like you have a lot of stuff to do with your mana anyway. So I don't think it's like unreasonable to go for the stuff or whatever to like stock up Riddler. I mean, I would be kind of hesitant to Boomerang because it's like pretty easy for them to have a Doom Blade and like our Riddler's going to exile, so it's like they don't just like counter our Boomerang basics, but they also get rid of it in exile. So I don't
Yeah.
think I want to,
Yeah.
but like I don't know if 100%, but that's something I'd be considering. Is like you know are you playing around their Phantom by holding your spells, or are you getting the Phantom out of their hand, like duressing them? You know what I mean? Like think of it like imagine if you're casting a duress to get the Phantom out of their hand, right? Um, so
Yeah. Yeah. I that perspective really changes things because like I mean I would like to be able to play the Riddlers and like and not have to play them on 7, right? Like yeah, I mean that makes a lot more sense.
or you could have double
Yeah,
Phantom,
yeah,
like you played on 7 and they go counter counter, or all. So I don't know, and also maybe they double
yeah,
Phantom or whatever, because like you're kind of in a bad spot. So like maybe, but anyway, so that yeah, that's
yeah.
kind of what I was thinking there. So yeah, we can pass, see what happens. So yeah, the Riddler goes in exile. Then
I think
did they miss a land or
okay,
something
so
crazy?
they miss a land here.
Yeah,
Um so I
yeah,
think here I go for stock up.
yeah. It seems
It just felt
reasonable.
like all right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to cast the Riddler because they could Phantom it. So yeah, they Spider
Yep.
Sense main deck, so they're cooking. They're the lab.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah,
And then I think I decide like, all right, I'll just go for I'll warp the Riddler here. Um,
yeah. Seems
they
reasonable.
played a yeah. So by this point, I'm figuring like I mean I don't know. Maybe they're not playing
Yeah.
Phantom.
I mean, you got
And then
kind of
I bounce it.
you got kind of punished because like if you didn't play a land first, maybe you could have played Spire Bluff, and I don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They got weird
Yeah, that's a
shit
good
going
point.
on now because like they didn't have a Doomblade or a counterspell, but they passed with 3 mana up. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Like, yeah, what's this?
Yeah, I don't remember what's going on here.
Can I
Oh,
construct?
consult on
Okay.
yeah with no kicker.
Yeah.
I guess they're looking for their 6 land so that they can just slam their
Guys, good
Singularity
progress.
Rupture.
Last week you were playing Blue Eye Control, but now we don't have any consults. Okay, yeah, they know half your deck and they're gonna lose. So,
Yep. Yeah.
yeah. This is one of the problems with when your like deck is too close to turning the corner. Your opponent just gets away with whatever nonsense they want.
Yeah. So I pick up the I draw the rally here, and I think I just slam it and
Yeah.
pray. Um, Maybe I should have done like a. Well, I don't know. There's really nothing I could do to play around Monument,
Yeah,
right?
it's just dead. Like you can just almost be like fast forwarding, like you can't even look.
Yeah.
And then
So
get out
I'm like, all right,
Scroll or
whatever.
spell. Yeah, it's like the chance you're dead seems really high, right? Like they probably still have
Yeah.
Monument and Million. I think those were they in the same limited set? I can't remember. I think they might have been. I think I
The
might have
what's
seen
that?
that in draft once. I was wondering if Singularity Rupture was in the same set as River Churn. That was a combo in draft. I think somebody did it too. I honestly
Oh,
can't remember. Is it Ace
yeah.
Freeze? I don't know. Anyway,
It
it's
was
too dark. I can't see. Yeah.
you sing. I thought it was Edge of Eternities.
Okay. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. Let's
Remember
see what
drafting
people do
it.
good ideas in constructed. Yeah.
So here I took the disdainful stroke, spell pierce, detect intrusions. I figured like I'll play the flash creatures too. You know, it's just
Yeah.
something to
Good.
do
I
to
thought you weren't
throw.
bringing the serpent at first, so I was gonna be like, "What's up with that? Why are you leaving the serpent?" Yeah. So make sure you side in the counter
I
spells and the and the threats.
yeah.
Side out something
I don't know if it's
cool.
correct to leave 2 Roaring Furnace. I figured like I don't know the sauna effect could be good.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll have a
Um,
creature, like maybe they have sideboard creatures, maybe they have Quantum Riddler,
yeah,
you know. I don't know. I mean, I guess a Braid's probably too bad. Maybe, I mean, you could consider a Null, honestly, because he counters River Trend Monument. Like, it could be better than Sadas or
oh,
Ice
that's
Lightnings.
yeah, yeah. That's probably better. I brought in a Soul Guide Lantern. Like I could
The cycle
I
it?
guess like
Because it doesn't hit you?
no. This was just straight up me not reading the card.
Okay,
I was
yeah,
like,
that's
oh, I'll
fair.
exile my own graveyard, like, but forgetting that it only hits opponent's graveyard. So that was just like a dead card in my deck. But yeah, a braid sounds pretty good, or a null
Yeah,
maybe.
Null. Because then you can, like, counter the River Trend. Because, like, theoretically, maybe they won't play it
Yeah,
early because they're scared of a Braid. So it's just, like, getting, yeah, kind of a small thing.
yeah,
Misses
yeah,
happens.
yeah. That could have been pretty good. So yeah, I went with this. 2 Rals, D-Stroke, Spell Pierce, 2 Spider Senses, and the Flash creatures. Oh, it looks like I was considering a braid, and then I decided no, the Soul Guide
Singularity.
Lantern's good enough.
Okay. Looks like a good hand, I guess.
Yeah, I think I kept this, and I think I played
Well, what's the hesitation? Like, it's what would make you want to mulligan it? Because it seems like you have it
I
already.
don't think I was yeah, like I don't think it was necessarily hesitation. I was thinking just more do I play the Storm Chaser's talent on one and just like slow roll the Thundering Falls, which I think is correct.
You think it's correct to like hold the talent so that you can like try and find to like try and play the talent?
I'm
Yeah.
I mean I'm on the play, like I think it's never correct, right? Like I'm always playing this on one if I can. Um and
Yeah, it
then
seems
I mean at
reasonable.
this point,
I mean, like
yeah.
the The only reason to consider slow rolling it is if you like think that you're gonna hit a splash portal and you want to like splash portal something. But this seems fine because even if you hit splash portal, it's probably gonna be good anyway. You know, so
Yeah.
like you
I
don't
think
need a splash
the
portal
only
on turn
like
three.
yeah the only thing that's really bothering me about this hand is that like I want two blue mana and like it'll be a while before I get there. Yeah, like if I top deck like an opt or something like that, it'll just I won't be able to do much with it. I think I would basically went for Thunder Trap here.
Yeah, get the pressure on, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Where's the splash
Splash
portal?
Portal or Detect Intrusion. I think I went. Maybe I. Okay, I went for the Splash Portal. I think I was considering Detect Intrusion just to have something for the what's it called? The Singularity Rupture, but it's probably too early to be thinking about that. They
Yeah,
duress me and they take my stock up here, I think.
it goes back to like the earlier times when you had the choice of splash portal, but it's like, oh, I have so much card advantage. Should I take this interaction so that I can leverage my card advantage? But Splash Portal is just so efficient, like with the Riddler and like with the Thunder Trap. That's kind of hard not to take.
Yeah.
So they duress you. Yeah, and then like.
And they end up taking the Splash Portal, I guess. So I'm like, okay, they must have Spell Pierce, but I'm playing stock up here every time, right?
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I could see. Honestly, I could. Did you consider playing the blue land? Maybe you worry about hiding information too much, maybe because
that's exactly what it was.
Like
because the first thing I would like the mouse hovered over the blue, like the first thing I was gonna do is play it. But yeah, so I don't know. Well, walk me through that though. Like, what's the is that what's the benefit of playing the blue land there?
Well, it's just like if you draw a Splash Portal, then like next turn you can play the Quantum Riddler, Splash Portal it, and maybe play the Thundering Falls tapped.
Yeah,
that's just what I was thinking.
yeah.
You can maybe conceal it, but it's like it probably almost matters so little because like you're gonna draw so many cards anyway. You know what I mean? Like you're casting a stock up.
Right.
If they don't have Spell Pierce, you're gonna have more cards. And it's just that. It's mostly that because it might be more mana efficient. Like one of the best cards to find is Splash Portal, and like that way you can have double blue and play the Thundering Falls. And yeah, like that seems like kind of a big deal. If you can like the payoff of like getting one mana back, being efficient by one mana seems bigger than like letting them know that you drew a blue land, right? To me.
So, yeah, I think I was being too cute with the hiding information thing there.
Portal and some stuff, and there might even be a world where like let's say you draw an island next turn, and you would have wanted triple blue, but now you have this mountain in play. So the mountain you were complaining about, you kept complaining about these mountains.
Yeah. I think this is a pretty. I mean, so I don't know what I took, but it's Splash Portal, and I mean, let's see. They're on 2 lands right now. I mean, it's between Detect Intrusion and Storm Chaser's talent, maybe the Thunder Trap Trainer, right?
Yeah, I mean that doesn't seem. The thing that's perverse about this deck is usually the decks with all cantrips like have something to play towards. But this deck's literally just card draw. So it's like hard to have a macro bigger plan. Like when you're playing a deck like Phoenix, you're playing towards usually like Treasure Cruise or something. So you're mostly cantrip things sculpting to that. When you're playing the Lessons deck, you're trying to get to the accumulated knowledge, the monument. When you're playing this deck, your big top end finisher is just like Riddler and Flicker. So it's kind of weird. And like when you're playing Delver and Legacy, usually you're trying to like stick a big threat and whatever. So this deck's kind of weird because it just has so many cantrips that it's like kind of hard to tell like should you be taking more cantrips at this spot. And I guess the big thing, it's just like about mana efficiency because like ultimately if you boiled it down into like the simplest system, like should you take like the kind of thing is like should I take this interaction because I want to leverage my card advantage, or should I take more card selection because I fear I ran out of things to do? Like that's basically the most simple formula of like what to be thinking in this situation, right? It's like should I take. Right, but it makes sense. Like with Detect Intrusion, like, it might be like, oh, I have so much card advantage. You know, maybe I want to start getting my protection from their combo a little bit. But maybe you're like, oh, I should take a Thunder. The thing about the thing about Thunder Trap Trainer is it's like it's not really card advantage. So like if you're investing 2 mana in it, you're not really getting that much, right? It's just like a 1/2, and like the Storm Chaser's talents, like you're not using it the best. So like maybe that would be a reason to take Detect Intrusion. Like you're like be like, well, Thundertrap Trainer is not really card advantage, and like Storm Chaser's talents like as I was saying like it's kind of like Monastery Swift Spear. You know what I mean? It's a 1 mana 1/1 prowess. So like maybe you want a bit of a higher impact card, and you could take the Splash Portal and the thing. But if it was a stock up, maybe you take like, or if it was 2 Splash Portals or whatever, maybe it would change things. But I don't, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. As we're thinking through it more, I mean, like Splash Portal, it feels pretty locked.
Yeah.
I could see Detect Intrusion being like a good protection to actually try to deploy, like a Splash Portal on a Riddler or something like that. I mean, that seems
Yeah,
kind of
although
reasonable, but also, yeah.
after that whole spiel, I just realized something that made this so obvious that like Spider Sense is kind of nutty because you have Thundertrap Trainer, so you can literally just like do the web thing. Like you can literally just go like 1 mana counterspell and then pick up
Oh,
a
right.
Thundertrap.
Of
So it's
course.
literally
Yeah.
everything in one. It's literally like a better threat anyway. So so it's probably kind of
Yeah,
obvious to just
that makes a lot of sense.
take those
Let's
two.
see what I did end up taking.
But yeah, so we'll see. It's
I
like
thought about it for a while.
I also
So it looks like,
so we'll see.
yeah, I went for Detect Intrusion. Please tell me I took the Splash Portal. Okay, I did.
So
And then, yeah, I mean, I think, knowing their deck, they probably just do nothing here. They don't even have any
wait,
removal.
miss
It's
a
just,
land? Did I see that right?
I think so, yeah, because they were on. No, wait, I was on the
This is your
play.
turn 4. Okay, good.
Yeah,
You just cast some of the
yeah,
spells. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, like you can definitely see. Like imagine if you drew an island, it would be such a punish to. You can see the options of
yeah.
just
I mean,
piling up
this is,
or like wanting to play the
yeah,
Summoning Falls and
it's
Conjure
crazy
Spell.
how it cascades. Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess maybe you can start by attacking. I mean, again, it's kind of like weird things of like, oh, am I gonna splash portal this or that, or like and web this? Okay, maybe you can
yeah.
just risk
I
this and see if they
basically
counter it.
decided to risk it here.
Yeah, you
Like,
have spell pierce and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like here, if you attacked, you could have done the web value. You're missing out on all the val. But yeah, you go for spell pierce.
yeah.
Yeah,
Went for Spell Pierce because I felt like now's
it's
my
kind of your
chance
dead.
while I can actually
Yeah,
use it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because look at
And
this
then,
thing.
yep,
It's
look
like
at the punish here.
yeah, you just have
Like,
this mountain
so
strike, and you
bad.
keep drawing more blue spells every turn. And let's see, they play a stock up. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know how they do that. Okay, now it's your
They put a
turn.
watery grave in the yard.
Sana showing up just in time. Um. Yeah. I mean, I guess the only choice is like, do you want to hold up like a count, like a spider sense, or do you want to, just splash portal your thing? You could also level the talent. It's like not horrible because it does let you use all your mana. It's not completely
Oh, that's
horrible.
interesting. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I was just thinking about trying to push damage. I think I was even considering like, play the Roaring Furnace just for more damage, and hold up the Detect Intrusion. They're on 4 mana, so I was the Singularity Rupture was like the top of my mind throughout the whole game too.
yeah, but it's 6 mana.
Actually, yeah. So here I was afraid of with that 5 mana board wipe. So
Devious cover up.
yeah, Devious Cover Up. So I think I decided I want to hold up, Detect Intrusion. And the only real decision point for me at that point was whether or not to just waste the Roaring Furnace to get an extra point of damage, and then like, at a later turn I could, unlock the door and activate the sauna.
Well, the thing is, if you're scared of a board wipe, then leveling the talent can be pretty good against it because then like you get to keep the other talent in your hand. You know what I mean? And you could even potentially.
Yeah, yeah.
So I could see. I mean, again, it's just like thinking about being mana efficient in a way, I guess, because like otherwise we're just gonna waste the 2 mana. Like it's not that it's a good play to level the talent, but like the alternative was we're not gonna use the mountains anyway. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
No, that's a really good point.
um, yeah, so you could just use it to
Yeah, that would
block
have been
all.
real strong actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we don't care if they board wipe on turn 5. I mean, a big thing about playing against control sometimes is like the thing that's weird about them is like their threats. Like you kind of usually against control, like you want to kind of like you want to make it hard for them to cast the spells they want to cast. Like that sounds abstract, but what I mean is like, I don't know if you heard the old meme people used to always say, but they would be like, "Oh, hold on to your good spell until it's their turn 4." Like, did you ever hear people say that? People used to always say that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know why people said that?
No, like I never really got it.
The reason people would say that was again, it all goes back to stock mana theory. Because the thing is, like, it's on turn 3. What do they want to cast on turn 3? They want to cast their cancel. So you're like, oh yeah, well, whatever. But, okay, the thing is, like, so it takes, like, some context, but it's like, on turn 4, if you cast a spell that they have to counter on turn 4, you can mess up their mana. Because on turn 4, usually control deck wants to cast a 4 mana draw spell. Like now it would be Consult the Star Shards, Glimmer of Genius, whatever. So like if you go like play a Planeswalker on turn 4, then you're like, oh, you're not allowed to cast that divination. You have to cast a counter spell, and you can mess up their efficiency because now they have to spend 3 mana instead of 4 mana. And like, you know what I mean? Whereas like the problem is if you're too passive, or like let's say you only have one good spell in your hand, right? Let's say you have one spell left and you play it on turn 3. Then they go turn 3 counter spell. Now you have nothing left. Then they go turn 4 cast my draw spell. Now you're dead. Whereas like let's say they had a counter spell. You do nothing on turn 3. Well, now they do nothing because they can't do anything. Now it's turn 4. Now you play it. Now they counter it. And now like next turn, maybe you draw another bomb. And now you get to play it. And now they cast their card draw, but you actually win. And it was kind of about that. It was kind of being like trying to make their mana awkward. Trying to be like, I know like if you have a counter spell, now you can't use your mana this turn, and next turn you want to use your mana, but you can't. So it was all just like about mana use kind of thing. And yeah, playing against control can kind of be like being aware of when they can play their threats. So it's like a lot of time against control, you're just trying to accumulate card advantage or whatever. But like, let's say they could cast, you know, a Meringue River Regent or an Elspeth. Then those are the turns you're like, oh, I want to make it so my opponent can't cast an Elspeth. Because like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say I said you should level the talent, but let's say if you level the talent, then they could just resolve an Elspeth. Then it's like, okay, maybe then you should like Splash Portal your Thunder Trap to try and look for a counter spell. So you're kind of trying to think like, you know, if I get too dirtly, can they punish me by deploying their own threats, trying to make it harder for them to deploy their threats? Here it's kind of weird because a lot of their threats are probably like 6 mana and whatever. But anyway, those are some things I would say about about playing against control. But anyway.
that's I mean, like being on the other side of it, like playing control, like I mean, every time someone's playing something where I got to play like a 3 mana counter off curve, it always feels absolutely terrible. Like it just it feels really awkward. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, it's a good thing to consider playing against these types of decks. But yeah, I mean, I guess like mana efficiency wise, even for myself, like this is just kind of like the worst of it here.
Yeah.
Like I just I mean, I end up with a bunch of unused mana.
Yeah, because like I
I
feel like
kept
this
the
can be way
island.
too easily because it's like the problem is like if you pass as a counter spell, I feel like it's maybe it's not. You could say it's not too like. I was gonna say like it feels too easy for them to just pass back and then you just lose all 3 of your mana. Obviously, you might be like, oh, but they're forced to board wipe because they have a big board. But it's like you don't have that much prowess, so it's like kind of hard to actually like they could just like Doom Blade one of your guys or whatever. But anyway, obviously you have one counter spell, but like then they could have like a Spell Pierce or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, you attack, makes sense. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, well, now I want to protect my board because if I Splash Portal, they can just Wrath me. So it makes sense. But definitely, like, it creates a situation where, like, if your opponent just goes land go, then you lose 3 mana, and then that could cause a down, like, you know, that could be awkward for you. Because if they, like, triple spell on your turn, like, double Doom Blade, Spell Pierce, or whatever, it could be tough. Okay, you draw a land.
Yep.
So,
So this land I surveilled on top. I think I was thinking about level 2ing the talent here.
Did you think about like casting the Sauna for 5 mana?
Yeah, I thought about that too. I wanted to keep my options open. Yeah, it was actually, I think those are the 2 options I considered. Leveling talent or casting the Sauna. I mean, maybe I guess I don't know why I'm not casting the Sauna
bad
first.
for you, I guess, that I didn't think about before. But if they play that 5 mana, the Serpent, I don't know if it's a 5/5, then that'll be pretty rough.
Yeah, that has ward too, right? Like, or I mean, ward four.
Yeah, water bend 4. So like you can tap your creatures to pay for the ward basically. Um,
Okay, yeah, maybe I should have kept the. I
it has
mean, let me
like
think this
invoke
through.
ward.
So,
Well, I'm not saying like, if this is wrong or not, but I'm like if I'm thinking like what's the worst possible thing that could happen this turn is definitely that card. Like no matter what you do, it's gonna be rough because like you play Quantum Riddler, they still get a draw card. Um, you play the Sauna, it's kind
right.
of awkward because it like has that mode. But at least if you like play the Sauna, then maybe next turn you could like unlock the Sauna and like try and have enough cards. Maybe it might be possible. Obviously, there's a lot of trade-offs, but I guess I'm just saying like the worst possible thing they could play the 5/5, um, and like the thing about the
Yeah,
Sauna is like well the thing is like if you level talent, it's like the thing about the Sauna is that like number one it triggers prowess, which is kind of nice. It forces them to counter it because like it's almost like you want them to counter it because like you're kind of ahead on board, so it's almost nice if you force them to use a counter spell on the Sauna, right? Because it's like okay now you
yeah,
have to use a counter spell on that while you're dying on board, and I have this in web thing anyway, so I have a. Whereas like if you level the talent, you know what I mean, then you give them more time to just cast Doom Blades or whatever. So kind of like casting the Sauna forces them to respond to it, and like even if they have a counter spell, you just have a Riddler next turn anyway, and like then you can just start leveling way down the road. But I just be thinking like I'm ahead on board. It's kind of nice if I force them to counter it so that they can't like be developing in other ways or whatever.
yeah, yeah. That makes
And trigger
sense.
prowess obviously, so you deal more damage. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought this was like. I mean, I should have. I think I should have maybe played the. I think the Sana is the right play.
Oh, what's
At the
this?
very
Oh,
least, like the splash portal.
yeah.
Did I just pass here? I don't know what the hell I was thinking here. Wait, I
Yeah.
didn't even activate the talent.
Yeah, it seems like it was probably maybe you got confused or something because it seems kind of loose.
Yeah, there's just like this is not correct at all. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, now they're doing it. They're doing it. They're letting the Doom Blades fly.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I don't understand how I don't at the very least activate talent here. I don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean
must
it
have
just
gotten
seems.
confused or something.
Yeah, it seems wrong to like not play one of your expensive things, like your three expensive things that
Yeah,
you do. So here it is, but you don't have enough pressure on to really punish them. Well, they have 5 life, so like I guess you're pretty far. Okay, they scoop.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. I got kind of bailed out. I think I just ran this back, still not realizing the Soul Guide Lantern is bad in the deck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Well, it looks like a nice hand.
Yeah,
This
I
is
think
like you.
this
Yeah.
is pretty easy.
Yeah. This is like that unique feeling where like you don't like your deck, but you feel like you're gonna win because your hand's good and like for the matchup and everything.
Yeah.
That I come across sometimes. So let's see
Yeah.
what they do a duress. Like yeah, I guess like
I think there's like basically nothing I care about here. They
yeah.
take the detect intrusion.
Let's see.
I'm
Yeah, I
like,
thought like
cool.
maybe they would take an opt or boomerang. I don't know. So I guess maybe
Yeah,
just
that's
pass.
what I would have thought.
Yeah, might as well pass and like I don't know if you're planning this to opt end of turn just to get it going. Okay, they
I
take
think
it.
I did opt in the turn. What did they take right there? They took
Got
the.
creature. Yeah, they can only take
Okay,
creatures and
yeah. So
artifacts. So they got lucky. Yeah, you had a hit.
yeah, so then I was like opt in the turn, bottom the splash portal.
Yeah,
I drew a Quantum Riddler, kind of awkward. And then I think I just played it here.
yeah, it makes sense. Like looking for a land, and
Yep.
if you draw
And then
land,
of
it's gonna
course
be
there's
nice.
splash portal before the Riddler, when the splash portal after the
Okay,
Riddler.
well everyone's suffering here, I guess. So
Yeah, so we're both missing land drops here.
yeah, so it's like a pure top deck game. Who can top deck the lands? They miss and you hit.
Yep.
Wow. So
And then I just so here I think I just land the stock up.
it's
Um,
kind of how many cards do they have? 7 cards in hand.
they got 5 cards in hand.
Oh, do they like mulligan to 3 or something? The hell?
Oh yeah.
Like
Let me see.
they have 5 cards.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well,
They
like I
must
don't
have
know.
mulled, right? Like
Yeah, like at least they multi like 5 or something. I don't know what
right.
if they have 5 cards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, if I mean, let me double check.
Yeah.
Um I want to rewind real quick.
Oh sure.
They mulligan to 6.
Okay, it's just six. It's just because they cast two spells, I guess. Okay. Well, it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting, like because the funny thing here is that like it seems kind of likely that they have a counter spell, maybe, and then like if you cast the stock up, like I could actually see an argument for not casting the stock up, but it's kind of like a weird one. Like, did you consider at all not casting the stock up, or you're like 100%?
It did, yeah, it definitely crossed my mind, like, just pass. But I just like, I mean, I know they're missing land drops and stuff, but the reason I cast it is because I just have absolutely nothing else going on. So I'm like, what am I waiting for exactly, right? Like, hope to top deck like a Storm Chaser's talent or something else that'll get countered. So I might as well
Yeah,
get the counter out of their
basically,
hand.
the payoff of holding the stock up is that like because in this context, if your opponent taps out, it's kind of like having a game win. Like if your opponent taps out, you have no way to punish them if you go for the stock up now and they counter it. So like if you go, yeah, if you cast stock up, they go counter
Mm,
it, then they untap, then they play a land, then they cast stock up, then you untap. Now you might actually be losing. Like you got a nice reprieve. They're missing a land. You're drawing a land, so you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm doing it. But you can imagine, like, you cast
yeah.
stock up, they counter it, they hit a land, they cast stock up, and now you're behind because none of the cards in your hand do anything, you know. And even if you hit a land,
Yeah.
you're pretty far from doing stuff. So, like, the consideration to hold the stock up is like you could pass to them, and then like they pass back to you, and then the thing is, if you cast the stock up next turn, what you actually do for yourself is now you're more likely to have a punish for them if they tap out on the following turn. Because if you draw a land, then you're closer to 5 lands. Or like if you drew another spell like a Thunder Trap Trainer, or what, like you're giving yourself more outs to like have a turn to punish them for tapping out. So like I go with C passing because of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm,
so it's kind of close. Obviously, like the thing is like if you just say like the play for this turn, it always depends on the context. But the thing here is more like if I do this, then next turn I can't punish them if they tap out. Having the stock up, like they're stuck on lands, so it's like keeping my stock up in hand means that I can make it hard for them to tap out. And like maybe that's good for me because I have the extra land right now. So as I slowly, like it's like defensive. It's like as I slowly build towards
yeah.
my lands, or as I slowly dig towards finding a Thunder Trap Trader or a Storm Chaser's talent, so I can use these boomerang basics. So that's basically the consideration. Like if it was me, I probably wouldn't stock up, but it's definitely close. Like things can obviously go wrong both ways, but I do feel like we're ahead and we can like take that luxury to just like wait a turn to like deny that kind of situation happening. Um,
Yeah. No, that's some next level thinking right there. That's really cool. I love that. But yeah, me being the person I am, I just didn't think too long and played the stock up.
yeah, I mean it's a thing
And
that comes up in like when you're playing like Counterspell Heroes, where it's like the problem was like getting your spell countered isn't that it gets countered in the moment, but more like, oh, I can't threaten them anymore in the future. That means that they can tap out. So it's like it's just the concept of like, can I hold having threats so that it's harder for them to tap out, kind of thing. But it's also like very
yeah,
contextual when it comes up. Like it doesn't come up that much, and a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, was the other thing. Like when you had the Riddler or the stock up, I'm like, oh, maybe you should cast stock up because you have enough threats, so you can just keep casting stuff anyway. But yeah, so now you see a bunch of stuff, and like I don't
yeah.
know, like yeah, if you're playing now, like what would you take? Like, would you take like, is it obvious to you
So
or?
they didn't counter my stock up, so they clearly don't have a counter spell. So it's River Pyre Verge and Storm Chaser's talent because I got two boomerang
Yeah,
basics in hand. It just feels like, let me guarantee my next land drop, keep my advantage, to stay ahead of them, and then just like, go off with the talent.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's makes sense. Like, yeah,
Yeah, so hopefully that's what I picked. Yep.
okay,
So the talent, I'm considering the stock up, it looks like. I
yeah.
don't know why I would do that. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
max
Come on,
greed.
Richard.
Yeah, you gotta play max greed.
Oh, I think I mean, so I'm not saying this is correct, but I think I know what happened.
Well, you like they don't
I
have a
was like,
counter.
they don't have a counter, and I'm gonna see so many cards with the talent and the boomerangs. I'll find my next land, so I'll take the stock up. I think that's where my head was at.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. Well, you got a land.
And
That's good.
yeah,
And yeah, I guess you probably just play the talent. Um, yeah, you can
Yeah, so like I don't know why I played the land. Yeah, and then I played the talent. I don't
basics.
know what I was thinking with the land drop right there.
Spell Pierce was smart to draw.
Yeah,
I guess you can consider
and
like if you want to boomerang basics again, or if you want to pass with Pierce, but like maybe because they didn't play counterspell and they can't play they probably can't play a board wipe. Maybe they play a weird one that they could play.
yeah, I don't even think I would want to. Yeah, I mean, Boomerang Basics probably was correct there, right? Like, I mean, let's go back here because like I don't care if they play Heartless Act or whatever it is on my
Yeah,
tokens.
and like this just
So yeah, I
guarantees
don't
that
know
you
why I
never
didn't
spend
just
mana to develop. It's yeah,
right. Yeah,
it's always
so
stop
I
turn
think
scary.
this is this. Yeah. Yeah, just like I need to get a lot better. I think this is another really big weakness of mine where I'm always trying to hold up interaction, and I'm never thinking about like how to advance my like what's the worst thing that can happen, and why do I need to hold up this interaction, and should I just advance my advantage, or the board state or whatever. I do stuff like this a lot, and just through our coach, like your coaching, I'm becoming a lot more aware of this. I just need to get better at actually implementing it in real time.
Yeah, I mean the easy way, like the easiest way to frame it, is just being like realize whenever you're passing with interaction up, you're like usually giving something up. Like it's like what am I giving up when I'm passing this
Mm,
interaction? I'm giving up my
yeah,
ability to develop better, right? Like I'm giving up my ability to spend my mana to develop. So like that's just something I would keep in mind. It's not like you just pass for free. It's like what am I giving up when I pass? You know, that makes
yeah,
it easier.
yeah,
So then you're like, oh yeah, what am I giving up? And like yeah, sometimes it's good to pass, you know. But anyway, so yeah, it's their turn. You're kind of
yeah,
steamrolling them or whatever. It's where Magic feels good. You know you're winning, and it's going to take a while.
yeah, yeah. This game just felt, I think, unlosable at this point.
And
And
this is
I guess they just scooped it here. So yeah, that was it.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if you want to
Yeah,
wrap up a bit because I guess it's already
yeah.
9ish. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything to say. Otherwise, I can say some stuff. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like, I mean, it sounds like I should just be playing the lessons deck, right? Like at least that's the best deck there is right now. I mean, is there any other deck that is like in contention? Like one thing I don't really understand about like the lessons deck is, I mean, we talked a lot about like how hard it is to interact with and stuff, but like, are there other decks that could do well against it? Like I'm not really a big fan of the Reanimator deck, but people talk often about like that's a pretty good matchup. Like, is that actually true, or is that a just more theory crafting than it is actual like truth?
Well, there's a lot of ways you could approach that statement, but I feel like a reasonable way to say it is that like you could say the lessons deck kind of maybe steamrolls most decks, but since Reanimator is like a higher variance, maybe it's a higher variance strategy or whatever. Some like it's like like
Yeah,
it doesn't just go out without a fight. Like it kind of like detonates its vest or whatever. That's probably too bad of an explanation. Thing, but it's like most decks just like get beaten to submission, and maybe Reanimator at least sometimes like let's say most decks are just gonna lose most of the time. At least Reanimator, if it high rolls, it can win. If that makes sense. Or like anyway, that's
yeah,
like the best way to put it. I would say, I mean, for me, like it's just easy. I find it so much easier to just play the best deck and see if you lose to anything than try and be like, I wonder what beats it. Like that's why I usually play the best deck because I'll be like, I'll just play what the people say the best deck is, and then playing the deck, you like know the deck better because sometimes the most popular deck isn't good. Like Energy and Modern is not that good of a deck. So like, but like I think the easiest way to discover like honestly like it sounds obvious when you say it right, but like if you actually want to discover the weakness of lessons, probably the best thing to do is play it and see what you're losing to, right? Sometimes people
yeah,
do like say like sometimes you see people running around whenever there's a new deck. Always people are like mono red counters it, or like mono red might be good against it. So some people say that maybe that's reasonable. Like the Legend of Roku seems good, and like maybe if the maybe like an aggressive deck that can like get under the like because if you think about what the lessons deck is doing, it has like a very good late game that's like hard to interact with. So it's like, okay, it's probably hard to beat them in the late game. So that means I probably should try and like go under them. So like maybe there's a deck that can go under them, like a mono,
mm,
some sort
yeah,
of aggro deck that could work. Um, maybe the Lessons deck isn't as good as people think, but like it does seem pretty. It does seem pretty good. It's kind of a weird deck too, so like people might give up on it too easily. But let me like, yeah, I mean, I think it's good to like play the deck, see what you're losing to. I mean, it's the kind of deck that like a lot of people might give up on because it's kind of weird to play. Like it's a very cantrippy deck, um, but it makes
Yeah.
sense. It's good. It's hard to think like I don't know, like maybe there is a better deck. Like Reanimator seems interesting. Like I'd have to think what else there is. I don't know. Like people talking about monocolor aggro decks. Um, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it's like it is a weird deck, but yeah, I do think like probably the most efficient way is just like play the deck, see what you're losing to. I don't know, maybe it has problems. Maybe it sucks, whatever. But that's probably where I would start because it's just easier that way
Yeah.
to start there.
All
I don't
right.
know. Yeah.
I'm gonna yeah, I'll give it another run. And I mean, I should probably be playing the monument version, right? Like, do you have any thoughts on like, I mean, is there any merit to the other version? Like, I mean, I think the other version doesn't run talent either, right? Like, it's just creatures
Yeah,
as like the win condition.
I think I would start with the monument version. Like obviously it's a new archetype. Like I didn't play standard before Worlds at all, but I think it makes
Yeah.
sense to do the monument version. Like talent's also so good in the counter war mirrors because like if your opponent plays turn 2 talent and then you play like land and you pass his counter spells up and then they just level the talent, it's just like game over if they you know what I mean? Because then next turn they just
Yeah.
play the
Right.
monument.
Yeah.
So I would probably just play the monument talent version. There's obviously other stuff you could explore, but like watching your version, really like or the this Flickr version, it looks so much worse than the Lessons version to me. And I don't know, like
Yeah.
I don't know what other version like probably like the version like Derek and those guys played is like they just like you know they got like they probably would have played the monument stuff if they found out about it. Like they probably didn't think whatever they had was better.
Right.
Especially if
Yeah.
the tournaments are going to be like 30% mirrors. I mean, obviously we don't know how good the deck is yet, but it's like if I was playing standard, I would start there and just be like, let's see what's up with it. And if you play something else, then it's like, I don't know, maybe if it's interesting. But part of the
Yeah.
problem is, it's like, it depends on your disposition. But like, you could play a random deck and it could be frustrating because like you try some deck and then it sucks. And at least if you try the Lessons deck, at least you're like learning about what's going to be probably the most popular deck or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I
All
would
right.
start with that.
Cool, man. I'm gonna give it a